Okay, getting the first pick. Get three, Pyro, get three with the
Blade Kid putting on a clinic. Whole team's down. Oh!
Experience tranquility.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to some Overwatch Tranquility action. I am Wurzcast, joined here with user Intel, and we've got a banger of a match today here in our championship bracket in the Transcendence tier. It's going to be the Decapi-taters versus Battalion. How does it feel to be casting right now? It's going to be championship bracket, but it's really picking up.
Well, I've got to say, the way it feels to be casting is, if you've ever like pulled a tooth out of your own mouth, yeah, I think that's how it feels. It's absolutely stressful, intense. It's in a weird area, and I know that sounds terrifying, but that's just because both of these teams, I was not expecting this type of matchup, especially with how the season has been going off so far. So, I just feel like they're yanking it out. I'm like, please just let it end. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's going to be the number 2 seed here in Decapi-taters coming into this versus number 8 Battalion. And something that happened earlier in the season was Battalion was in that elimination bracket part of the bracket very early on after stage 2. And a lot of people had their doubts about this team. On the podcast, and one time I've gone on my podcast, I did have a lot of Battalion copium, but it was quickly shattered by the fact they instantly lost their first match after I said that in the elimination bracket. But I mean, they've rebounded back. My copium stayed alive and helped them through it would seem. But I mean, can they still continue on this run against the number 2 seeded Decapi-taters, a very strong team?
I gotta say, it was absolutely funny too. I felt Battalion went out of their way to do it. That was very targeted, at least towards you, with kind of losing out. But relatively speaking, I think Battalion has been always one of those teams that have somehow, at least, been able to bring out a lot of potential when the times get stressful. We've seen them go head to head against some kind of higher tier teams, especially against Decapi-taters. So, I can't really confidently say that I expect this going one way or another, especially with our first map. I think it's really going to be defined about how it goes off afterwards, but first point still matters a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at these rosters, these brand names, these team names are very familiar to anyone that's been around a while here in Tranquility. Decapi-taters and Battalion, both mainstays. And Battalion actually was in that grand finals of last season before losing to the kind of conjoined twin team, I like to say, is the kind of joined at the hip of God Hands. Those teams help each other out a lot. I believe they still do so. They did so at the time. So they can share a lot of things, and God Hand, very good team, can provide a lot of stuff to Battalion. It seems to be working out for them.
I definitely can kind of see that sentiment. So when starting out onto our first map, when it's going to be something like Busan, that's absolutely terrifying for one of those first control maps. It's not something like Lijiang Tower where everybody knows how it works, or it's not like something like Nepal where everybody's really annoyed by it, but they understand the variations and want to run. I think Busan is one of those maps that you can genuinely run anything that you want, and it works out to various degrees, especially that on Wrecking Ball composition that a lot of teams, especially in the kind of lower tiers, have definitely been more favoring. And with Mega Base coming out, we're going to be able to get a good example of just how Brawl works and how these teams want to be able to just immediately move in. This will be able to show us who has better patience, who has better focus, and more than anything, who has better style.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, like you said, it's going to be Mega Base. You can probably see that rush from these two teams here, and I don't think either of them should be afraid of it. But we'll get to test out. We'll get to feel the waters here for what these two teams like to run, and maybe they'll set the tone for the rest of the series. I mean, Control can be a good look, a glimpse into what these teams are comfortable with, depending on what compositions they come out on each individual round. But a lot of teams, they kind of default to rush here, and we'll see if that holds the same for both these teams as we get a look at their starting composition.
Yeah, I never truly like to fully analyze what they're going to be running out with because these teams are massive trolls half the time. Though, like Lid right now is showing off the rest.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective. I cast this forward. This will heal you. The objective is now. Get into position.
Nerf this. I'm on fire.
Score 0-1. Ready for battle. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
You needed a rescue?
Get over here and heal up.
I'm setting my flag on the point. taking damage.
Engaging. Activating. Anyone need some healing?
Now, where were we? Get back. Damage boost engaged. Routing power barrier.
Observe the barrier.
Stay on target.
Activating shield. Minefield has captured my sights. And stay down.
I'm planting my flag on the point.
I'm on fire. Engaging. Hello.
Guardian Awedic. I am unstoppable.
Nerf this.
Into the iris.
I'll show them.
You gotta work on that area. Easy.
Soldier 76 reporting to duty.
Matrix activated.
Enemies in our orbit. Go. The objective
Hold on.
Everything is fully in place.
Oh, there.
Healing enough.
My sights.
Guardian Awedic.
Hold up now. Stand him up. Knock him down.
Overtime.
Don't move.
Come here and get
Activating
stabilized.
self-destruct sequence.
Score 1-1. Ready for battle.
Rolling out.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 3. Capture the objective.
Get behind me.
Activating the barrier.
Feeling better?
my claim on the objective.
Voice is off. But as we return here to you right now, gonna be the first cap going over to Battalion here, and Night Uzi in a bit of peril.
Nothing like playoffs without a little bit of scuff. It's always my favorite part of the day. Now we just need a map reset by accident. That's how we get the rest of the night started. But right now, it's the Cassidy being able to control the flow of the map. They're very much struggling to be able to hit these dives, and it's a lot of CC and control that we're being able to see them commit onto these pushes. And especially with Lin being on the hog, you really don't want to catch yourself out of grasp.
Right now, it's gonna be the first foray into the enemy team comp here for Truth. The Pulse Bomb doesn't find anything, but Night Uzi is found nonetheless. The tanks are gonna roll over next. The Nano tried to be used to keep Lin up in the fight, but only gonna find the Lindholm, not the Lin. They're just gonna have to back out in shame.
Going to be okay.
It's just a little bit more of protection. As much as they want to be having the Brigida, you know, you gotta just kind of also peel in. Their composition kind of is a bit of mixed feelings. I feel like three people have different type of objectives that they want to be going for, as well as this EMP is working a little bit slowly. Pro Gamer really wants to be building these much faster, though having it now is at least going to set themselves up for a full team fight win. However, they need to be able to follow up on it afterwards, and they have a very slow comp, so that could be a big problem unless they're already positioned in those moments.
Right here, we are going to be using that Transcendence defensively. I'm not sure quite what forced that. Potentially it was Pro Gamer baiting it out with that Sombra EMP, but it comes out, only hits 2, and one of them is the Brigida that's already hit that rally button, so they are not in danger of dying even after the EMP. And you've wasted your key cooldown all, and you've pressed 5 others, and all you've done is lose people for it. You cannot even find this Ashe as the packs come in. Night Uzi finds something at least in Deputy, but that's all you're gonna get, except Night Uzi's popping off, looking for something, anything, but it should be quickly dealt with, as it is the ball on the case, and they finally do find it. Then they cleaned up somehow. Night Uzi has turned this into a winnable fight from the clutches of defeat. I'm not quite sure how that was accomplished for something that looked so over.
It's just the Cassidy type of moment. That poor Diva, though, managing to escape just barely out. But it's as I said before, you know, Knight being alive is very much a danger. Though not having that Mercy is less of a problem. Cassidy just has such a consistent fire rate. That's why a lot of the times, especially back in the past before the DPS nerfs, you saw Cassidy over Soldier 76. It's about the consistent DPS more than anything. And now this kind of helps them move back into the fight. Though at 73 to kind of 50%, they very much have to stall for time.
Yeah, and are going to be seeing here where they want to go with this Nano. Ball engage is first on the honor. They don't find them quite with the mines, but a nice peel there from Lin. But is it enough? The rest of the team is falling around them, and even if you hit that key pick on the ball accomplished and used all their cooldowns, they got exactly what they desired. So you killed a useless target anyways.
They're not really paying attention too much about the people who are being the threats. Normally it is that Wrecking Ball on Truth. I can definitely kind of agree to that idea of immediately focus on the Wrecking Ball, but you have Sombra. That's a completely Sombra's job, or focusing down on Lin. The rest of the team needs to be going after these flankers, and more than anyone, Smug and Anma, who are just getting so much done in this game.
Right now, the first victim will be Night Uzi as this overtime wick does start to burn. It's prime time. You have to clutch up here if you are the Battalion. As they're looking for it, they almost found the Brigida. Oh, the Transcendence! You waited too long. If you popped it earlier, you could have found it. But instead, you get a perfect opportunity here for Deputy Boss to sniff out your intentions, and you lose the round for it. A great retake there by Decapi-taters after losing that first round, and that's giving good momentum going the rest of this series.
I think we really got to see kind of those moments of what they work better at, and it's kind of what I pointed out on Mecha Base, and you know, truly a moment we got to see them shine on. Though Battalion, they definitely tried, I guess, to run out with those fundamentals, tried to be able to play those counters, but I think their biggest issue was on just who they were trying to target focus more often than not. They're not really kind of putting in the resources into the people that are kind of getting the kills, are living for like the longest. They're putting a lot of resources into tanks or people that can survive the longest, which I mean is really good on something like a 2TP map where the big focus is those people who are kind of coming back, able to get those one-shot kills. I think more than anything when it comes to these types of fights, and especially on the Wrecking Ball, you have to be taking out the person who is either the biggest problem, or you're taking out that Wrecking Ball who is the engager, who's helping them set up, who's helping them get ult charge. Other than that, you really don't really have much to focus on. You kind of have to just be paying more attention to how the rest of the team are reacting to these engages, because, I mean, Char and Smug were just able to get so much done every fight, and you know, you just let them live for absolutely no reason. And I think, well, the reason more of it is just you're trying to take out that Wrecking Ball and Roadhog, who are like big threats, but I don't think they were really doing much.
Yeah, and I mean, you see this team, right? You see a lot of kind of success there on the rush composition, and it doesn't always translate over. Really messy rounds outside of that, very close, could have gone either way in certain situations, but in the end, it kind of seems that they slopped it up a little bit more at times, and that kind of resulted in them dropping those rounds that they could have won. They could have taken this first map, but I think that gives us the best look at this. This could potentially be quite a close series here. If we are looking at certain maps that might favor the rush composition more, maybe Battalion is a little bit more comfortable in that, I could see this going the distance. And I mean, I'm always up for some more Overwatch here at Overwatch Tranquility.
I mean, hey, I've got nothing better to do. Either way, I think there's nothing more better than being able to watch a close series, being able to see teams go head-to-head against each other as close as possible. Those are by far my favorite points when it comes to Overwatch and when it comes to Tranquility. These teams are sometimes very close together. However, they are not always going to be able to shut each other down. I feel this is where Decapi-taters are going to be starting to move themselves in a lot farther in the series. I definitely feel this is where kind of they're going to have those confidence and they're going to be feeling a lot happier, but Battalion is far from over. This is only map 1, and as some people used to say when it comes to control maps, you know, the weaker team tends to win, debatably speaking, or that you're not being able to see a team's full potential. They're just starting. They're going to get warm up, you know, whatever excuse you want to start out with on the fact that they didn't win map 1. I can still see Battalion being able to bring it in, but I think it's heavily going to be map dependent on how those work and what styles they're going to be more focusing on. Other than that, I don't see too much of them being able to kind of take out Decapi-taters, especially with the focus fire issues that they've somewhat been struggling with a tiny bit, but it's still not a lot. I think it's just a little bit of adaptation they're going to need.
Yeah, and for you guys at home that might be wondering, this is a bit of a technical issue that is doing this. Don't worry, you'll get our lovely faces on screen in no time at all. And of course, what you guys are actually here for, not my or even user Intel's lovely faces and our lovely yapping, but in fact, the lovely game of Overwatch that we are going to watch here, right? So I want to get back into that second map and see what's going on. Hey, there we are. How's it all going?
I don't know. I feel like if I put someone's face like Door, like a PNG all over me, you know, everybody will be in here. The viewership skyrockets.
Door simp here.
I am actually I am a Door simp. I'm a big fan of his, honestly. Yeah, exactly. Either way, I think continuing into the map, we're going to be seeing how these things work out, especially because our next map is going to be Temple of Anubis. So we're going straight into 2CP, which, you know, some people may kind of hate, I think, especially seeing very early in the series. I think more than anything, this is going to be a very tough map to be 2CP or than anything of Temple of Anubis. I think it's one of those more 50-50 maps. It's either you're a really dominating team or you have to just pray time bank is in your favor. Luck, ult economy, you know, 50-50 chance. It's not like Hanamura or Volskaya.
Yeah, and I believe it's loser's pick for these, so it is interesting to see that Battalion wants to go over to Temple of Anubis here. Not particularly the greatest rush map. I know some teams did try to run it for a long time, but it kind of got beat out by Double Shield in certain situations. But maybe they're just like, hey, we just love running Hog comps here. And I mean, to each their own, Battalion, but I personally am not the biggest believer of Hog. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. Baby, cancel.
Are you a main tank player?
Yes, I am actually in
Okay.
fact a main tank player, and also when I play off tank, I don't like playing hog. My worst off tank, and two, the least time I have on it. Except when I played on console when the game first came out. First 6 seasons, abused that character.
Definitely understandable. You know, I got it with the main tank, guys. You know, either way, I definitely have to agree. It adds a lot of room to be able to play very split, but you're going up against a double shield, not necessarily spam, but just very quick burst damage. So, you know, there's not much in your category. But they I don't really know if they recognize what's going on. It seems eventually they're going to be able to switch over to the Brawl. And I mean, on the bright side, you're not going up against a Junkrat. On the bad side, this is still 2 CP. And as much as you want to have Knight over to that Symmetra to teleport, you know, be a little pranky, like, you don't know what we're going to do. That teleport does not always work.
Yeah, I'm going to be swapping off the Hog, something I'm a big fan of, as we do see the rest of Fortify already going to be forced out. They're on the back foot, and the back foot ends up in the wall. They're going to just be running straight into it here as Truth is forced to run away. They've done their job, the Brawl has. They push the double shield back. They force them to move. They will not be playing tower defense here. Instead, they will be playing more interactive game. But still, that doesn't mean the Reinhardt's going to have an interactive time as he's going so low. And Trippy keeps him alive with a hair of their chin. But this dynamite is going to be massive. Everyone's burning. Trippy and evasive resources are going to get put to the test right now as the wall is going to be perfect. Going to section them off and the Ryan is just gone. Now you have a bunch of squishies stuck in a small room and a pull is available. I expect it to be a quick cleanup here for Decapi-taters.
Yeah, so the big problem with that Sim TP is that it's 100% predictable, it's 10 billion% obvious, and it's quintillion% counterable, especially against something like a double shield, which is prioritizing retreating and back and like trying to get back as much as possible. Land also just shouldn't have reback there, just force them to kill you. You give them a bit more ult charge and you waste a bit more time on the side of your team. Either way, back to the point I'm making, double shield prioritizes backing up, not, you know, moving in, and the fact that they had to kind of push out and now the resources going into this fight, it's just one big stagger fest.
And speaking of staggers, they might not get staggered out in terms of deaths here, but definitely in terms of resources. It's very hard to try and fight this double shield when you don't have that lamp, that second life. That's your main way of getting on top, is they're gonna just do the tried and true method of, if it didn't work the first time, we'll do it again. And actually, it worked worse than last time somehow, maybe because you're walking into a lot of ults that love it when you're close to them.
I mean, you can definitely save up 6 ults, hit them all at once, and that will always work. You can't get me wrong, but I don't really know what their main idea is. I don't understand. Normally what a lot of teams like to do, especially with this teleporter brawl, is they like to move around, or they try to bait a team in, force them into that little small cubbies, and then they collapse on top of them. That's what the Reinhardt works best, is kind of being inside these stacked rooms. And well, it's not really going to work the best if this is what you're working with. You're now coming up to around 5 ultimates, and that Sim Wall is going to be absolutely massive to help make space, but you're still going through this big poke spot that they basically control and set the space. They're trying to go for the gladiator's bait, as I like to say. You know,
we use Sim TP to get... So we use Sim TP to get through the room that we can actually just speed through. And then we TP top right, and we wait 30 seconds, basically, like 20 seconds for it. And now we have paused.
What a worst type of
what a series of events. So I'll break it down for you guys. They TP'd through the rotation hole, through the rotation in main. They could have just sped past it. They could have DM'd it, all that kind of jazz. But then they wait for the TP again. They go for the Great Bamboozle, but they don't bamboozle. They find a wall, and then we lose a player.
It had to be the Mei that DCs. It just had to be the Mei in the 40 seconds. You've got to be kidding. I'm sorry. That is so frustrating, especially because I don't think their engagement was good. Especially the moment that they paused on. There is nothing that could have been worse than walking into a direct kind of tunnel, and the double shield has popped the bongo, popped the bob, and they are prepared to take you out. Sound Parrier is a really nice defensive ability, and it's a very nice engagement ability. It's not good at doing both at the same time. I definitely think you have to put more resources into one or another, especially depending on what you want to be able to do. But Decapi-taters, they're going to be able to absolutely kind of, I think as long as they pay attention, as long as they're working with their priorities and they're not kind of going brain dead, they 100% win this, especially with the Valkyrie as a backup ability. That res is absolutely immense. Lin can maybe do something with this bomb, but it's all about luck, I think, at this point, because you put yourself at the worst possible position.
We should be going in just now. It was Pro Gamer. Rip, rest in peace. 07 in the chats, if you will, for their Blizzard. It is now gone. But they found some value here, even without that Mei, and they're actually back on the Widow. They've decided, Mei, overrated. I need Widow. I'm gonna get set up. Gonna look for this Mercy's head. Don't quite find it. 3 shots, and we still haven't found what we need. And on the point, the rest of their team is just going down. They're out of resources. They used them all just to get to this position. They have none left to keep pushing forward. Finally, the Widow has found some value, but it's just too late. They could maybe actually just find Trippy just jumping into them. And it's a disaster.
You just had to call the Widow like that.
I mean, if you're gonna come back on Widow, you better do something on Widow. I mean, that's just the law of Overwatch. Do
I know, but
something on
you
Widow.
you just had to point it out, like, oh, Widow not catching. They're gonna watch back on the broadcast. They're gonna be like, I know, watch how to do
I'm
it.
sorry. It's not my job to be mean. It's a hobby.
Like,
Aspect I mix in. I'm
oh,
sorry.
man.
That's why I'm the worst.
Yeah, I need a profession on that, you know. That's where I can make my money. Either way, I wasn't wrong. You know, I never am wrong. That's why my predictions are 100 and 0. Don't fact check it. The double shield just works so well. They almost managed to kind of win it out. They used every ultimate, but they bursted it out so quickly that they didn't really have kind of the mid-fight type of territory that they're really looking towards. Especially when they res out the Baptiste, who's gonna have that lot of sustain. And yes, your Widowmaker's not getting any value. Your Widowmaker is missing, I would say, very easy shots, though. As a gold player myself, I can't really kind of tell you how skillful it is gonna hit something. It's just, it does not work out in those ways. I definitely need to be seeing them work more as a unit and not make fundamental problems. You know, you don't walk into the gunfire. You try your best to avoid as much of it as possible, lessen your team's own range, and yes, you're going on a very heavy spam, but they are also going on a pretty weird bunker. No, dive, thank goodness. I was so terrified for a minute. Dive's gonna work great here, especially with that Sombra looking to scout, looking for their opportunities. They're gonna be able to adjust as they want to, but more than anything, it's gonna be really hard for Telm to be able to survive.
Yeah, I heard something. I heard that you love, in particular, map 8. So this could be a classic 2CP moment. We hit that draw. We have a map 8 situation set up. Barn burners are quite a staple here at Tranquility in playoffs. So happy for you to join us here for a map 8, the first one we're gonna get here in the playoffs. Should be quite the ride for you, as we are gonna see them trying to set up this dive. I mean, it's gonna be difficult.
Difficult. Yes, absolutely. It just looks like they're right now prioritizing more of kind of setting up that ante and kind of getting that nano prepared, which is a very good strategy, but it's all about timing and it's all about efficiency if you're not kind of moving fast, especially because you have this double bubble, so your entire fight is dependent on your resources. Well, and your Sombra gets caught out. It's going to take you much longer to get in the fight, though they seem to just want to immediately take it in.
You know, map 8s are quite the fun at time, as they're kind of looking like we're going to see that, as they are going to finally find the engage. The dive is in. Lin is antied and taken out. A nice engage there using that Echo Stickies. We might not, in fact, see that map 8, as the hack is actually quite good, particularly that's the manual hack, but Barrage did find the value already onto the Winston, and they got the res out as well. I believe it's even. They're looking for some health packs sustained. This does benefit Decapi-taters greatly, though, because they do, in fact, have those spawns.
More than anything, Bongo has a bigger ability than Valk when it comes to resource management, so at least with that Sombra gone, it just gives them time to build up that EMP, and it's a harder time for the rest of the team to kind of just peel in. Sure, they're going to be able to win this fight, but at what cost?
Sigma here is going a bit deep for that Ana. They don't end up finding it, but the Mercy is a nice substitute, as the flash is massive there, takes out the Echo. And this is a stronghold so far, and you've actually used a lot of key ults, but you still have that EMP, that X factor that this comp really needs in this dire moment.
Yeah, I don't know why they really invested that copy or kind of tried to put in as many ultimates as possible. They definitely could have won that fight out if they just invested nothing because of the ult economy. While yes, the EMP is there, and that's a pretty big ability. Look at Char just sitting there, absolutely looking beautiful today.
They find it. No, they don't, but the EMP is only going to find 2, except it does actually find that Pharah. That's the 3rd that I did not mention. As the Nano Winston is finding something, but Smugs is doing a lot here on this Pharah so far. The swap has proven effective instantly, but they might get taken out. Nope, they are dodging and evading this Cassidy spam, but they haven't made any headway on this point just yet. They're looking for something, some pick, some instant crucial cooldown to be expended for them to keep going, but the ball is back and they found it. The Pharah is gone, that constant pressure. Now it's all on the Charbitus to try and do something here, and I don't know if they can find it. Deputy is gone, and so is the rest of their team. 40 seconds remaining. Map 8, here we come, baby!
I'm absolutely at a loss so far as of now. They could be winning this fight, but they're not pushing in. They're not going in as a team. And now, their last ultimate that they're truly going to be able to work off of is that Graviton Surge going up against just that barrage. I don't know if it's just a 2CP type of struggle, but they are not playing this as they should.
Gage is going to be quick. The barrage is going to be following up. They found the Cassidy, but they're instantly traded. The res is also available. They can't get there fast enough. They're looking for the Mercy. They found it, but they lose their life for it. The grab finds nothing. It's going to have to be a clutch moment here for Battalion. They kind of squandered what they had, the resource advantage. The time was going down, and in the last moment, the crumble is on the menu. A fantastic dessert here that I'm sure the Decapi-taters will love to enjoy after they win this map in a close fashion. But I mean, even if you're Decapi-taters, you're sweating a little bit.
I definitely think so. Yeah, Decapi-taters. I don't know what Nene grab that was. I'm pretty sure it was going after the wrecking ball. But my favorite thing to do is just throw it at somebody you know you're gonna hit, rather than you're like, oh, I'm gonna catch you out. Yep, and then, you know, you look like that. Though, luckily, that Anti was absolutely the playmaker. Just a little bit more, and that Monkey would have died much faster. The rest of the team wouldn't have been able to move in, and the moment that Orisa fell, that's the moment you're gonna be able to stand proud and say, that's when we push forward. So, I'm pretty impressed. Decapi-taters already moving in, being able to take in this match point. It's not going to be anything bad so far, but I'm definitely feeling that they kind of are messing up. You know, I may have accidentally said match point. That's me. My bad. I'm absolutely so used to just saying to map to 3, but kind of just taking in this first set. It's absolutely impressive, and what makes it impressive is just because it takes a lot of, I think, determination just to be able to pull it out, especially in those high intense moments where, you know, you're letting like someone like Knight be able to shut you down. Though Knight is by far one of the, I think one of my favorite players in this division, at least.
Yeah, and for those of you that are Tranquility regulars that might not be completely familiar, yes, we normally do halftime in a regular season after the first 2 maps, but because it's first to 4, we are going to do it after the 3rd map. So you have one more map of us yapping before you get to take a break for that water, to go to the bathroom, whatever you need to get back to some amazing action. As so far, I said it was going to be a close game. The first map definitely proved it. The second map, in a very different way, both those teams struggling on attack. And this is more the type of map, as we're looking towards King's Row, that I would have expected Battalion to pull out, seeing as how they were confident on Rush.
I'm not going to be too surprised to be able to see this. King's Row has a lot of variations, I think, and especially a lot of opportunity to kind of confuse your opponents, run something that they're not necessarily going to be prepared for, which is what I'm really expecting coming out of this fight. Possibly maybe just that Doomfist again. Doomfist still works on King's Row. That Junkrat's viable. Far Mercy with the rush can be quite good, especially teams that don't really know how to go up against it. I think the biggest worry that you're going to be seeing is possibly a mirror when it comes to just brawl v brawl, because then that's up to individual talent, and then I think you could say that either side have that good DPS line that can save it, but when it comes to the tank line, I think it's a bit more unclear. I think Telem has been a little bit better on the main tank role, but I think Anima has been absolutely dominating on this off tank role, and so it's a bit of trade, bit of there, and so seeing them come out, seeing them onto basically what is considered standard on King's Row, I'm going to be heavily kind of focusing on their own individual plays more than anything, because as much as this is a team game and a team unit, one person dying ends the fight on King's Row.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking towards them to just keep them together. That Rush is all about that unity. And for those of you at home that are Charbitus, or I've been calling him Charbitus, or Chase fans, as he's She said us just call him, but in my mind, as the inner weeb I am, I associate it with an anime where a character is called Charbitus, so it's just a natural thing for me to see that name and say it, but I will try to be referring to them as Chase from now on. You might know that name. They did pop off in that last map, so you should be saying that name quite a bit. As right now, they are going to be looking on the defense here. Very similar, actually exactly the same rush compositions. Not surprising at all. The first wall does go over the way to the Decapi-taters, but they managed to counter wall in. It's Fortnite. We're playing Fortnite right now. The walls are being built. They're cranking 90s out there. And finally they're gonna back up, but not before their diva loses their mech, and it's King's Row first. You don't have anywhere to jump off.
Yeah, it's, this is also a fight of Mei walls. I kind of forgot to say that because I consider Mei a tank, which is how much she can do. And, you know, I think that's pretty evident right there. Pro Gamer barely manages to get Telm out of that fight, but even then, you know, they lose 2 out of it, and it's not working well, especially Pro Gamer dying during the stagger. This may give them the confidence just to move in.
That window is nasty. They catch them on the disengage. There's nowhere they can go, and Battalion is looking lost right now. They're getting their spawn doors touched by truth. They have to find something here, and I believe it's all gonna start with buying space with that window and trying to get that blizzard in there, but you have a counter blizzard of your own. How can you evade that?
You know, you already have to be backing up. You really have to kind of just predict and play to this pace. The faster team may not always win, but they're definitely going to be able to shut you down a lot faster than ordinary. And, well, I think it's going to be up to Lin to kind of just put in more resources, just trying to defend them as much as they can. But just now getting that mech, you know, they're losing in the ult economy.
The blizzard instantly coming out. The good disengage. No one gets frozen up, but the pin is good. That's a lot of damage to the counter blizzard. I don't know who's that gonna get. It gets the diva, but that's about it. And the counter kills are gonna come in here for Decapi-taters. You have tried many a time now, and it's 2 minutes off the clock, and you have made 0 progress even into the first choke.
It's just how it works. First engagements, first ultimates, always looking a lot better, especially because the enemy team's not going to be kind of prepared for it. They're having to engage first into that deadly choke, and now with the rotations of abilities, if you're not pumping something in first or being able to counter it / eat it, well, you're not really going to be getting much done.
So far, we're seeing rotations galore now. They've gotten sick of getting stuck in that choke, and they're going to try and jump this gap, potentially. Can they do it? Do they have the parkour skills, the free-running skills? They're waiting, and no, they just give up on it. Not attempting it. Might hurt their shins a little bit too badly. The shadow does come out right into the shield, as the bomb could be massive here in the backside by Trippy, one of the biggest members on your team. With Chase! Chase does it again with the high noon to counter. He just one-ups Night Uzi at every turn. He's even looking for the solo frag here. Want to poke it. He got crapped on there though.
Yeah, high noon. Remember, individual play making differences. The smallest position is going to matter the most. The pro gamer having out this blizzard, and especially, Decapi-taters not having a full team is a big problem. They're going to be able to take this re-engage, but I definitely feel if you're confident in yourself, you sacrifice that tick if you need to.
Oh, I mean, they're just uber confident right there. They are oozing confidence every which way. But it might be their downfall. That hubris is exactly what Battalion wants to exploit. And also the fact that they're going to eat the blizzard. They could have traded out Riser if the blizzard hit the ground, but instead it's going to be Anima making the round-saving play potentially. They might not even give up a tick here. They're going to regress on this point with this window. Perfectly timed here from Deputy to Boss. Everyone is critical on his screen. The stress levels are rising. And Night Uzi takes this opportunity to find a kill. There's still no lamp for another second. Can they find the right in that time? But no, Truth is gonna have that shadow available for defensive use, and it finds 2 on the ground. The lamp expended as well, and the reaggression here is perfect. And they're gonna take this with just 4 seconds remaining and shut out what could have been a point capture.
That is a beautiful formation to be able to quickly shut that out. The shatter, absolutely beautiful. The eat, even more impressive. Did I not say that's something you gotta be doing? Though, luckily, they are gonna be able to get this tick in a half, so they set themselves up a win condition more than anything. But that is how you get shut down. You know, the individual talents shining to be able to bring this back to the moment that they get a little bit scared of losing, and that's what's going to work most on King's Row. I think this is now the point where I can say Decapi-taters are looking like a very strong team, while I feel Battalion, they're not quite warmed up yet. Something about them is not completely being able to move forward. They're not being able to immediately kind of push in and work as a unit. I think they're definitely more relying on quite possibly luck or just chances of what they can see. You know, as much as we said this was Fortnite, that May has a cooldown, and you can only build so long. You know, you can only crank so many 90s until you hit the 360 and you're back in your own spawn room.
Yeah, it feels weird. It's Battalion had this story coming in, grand finalists last season. I cannot understate that. Grand finalists. They've done to so many other teams to get to that spot. They didn't end up taking it, but still an achievement nonetheless. Roster shakeups, they happen, but still the spirit of the team is the same. And you come in, you have not quite what you would have wanted first stage. And second stage as well was pretty rough. I mean, and then you come into playoffs and you get back up to that caliber that you expected of yourself, and it may have just hit that point where they've just Decapi-taters number 2 seed for a reason. This team is amazing, so might have just hit a wall they cannot overcome, as gonna be Chase looking for the early pick here, but I don't think he'll find anything.
Yeah, especially just since the Decapi-taters have been putting on an insanely impressive performance. You know, compared to like last season where they weren't considered that high of a top tier team. But now look at them as they're baiting up the resource. Wait, was that a close hold?
They sped out of main. They're looking for something, but they don't find anything. They just trade out their Baptiste for a Cassidy. I mean, that's not a good trade in the slightest, and now they have complete point control. If you are Battalion, you have to push into them with no Baptiste. You don't have Lamp, you don't have that second life, you don't have a lot of healing. Your Lucio's now gone too, and the fight just spiraled under control. You were trying to catch them off guard. You were trying to show aggression, and all it resulted in is a quicker map loss. And the Decapi-taters are now up 3-0. Now it is match point. And Battalion's got to be feeling it. It might just have been drained from this long and very exhausting playoff run, but it might just come to an end. Or maybe they have a second reserve of energy to push back in.
Worst? I've never felt so angry in my life. I do not know what to confidently say about Battalion in their plan, because we've seen the strategy where the Reinhardt hides and then they immediately, you know, charge in, you catch someone out early, haha, you have ult charge advantage. I don't know what that was. That was such a risk, and they lost people during the mid of it, and they trade spots. I don't know what your game plan was, what you were going for, but you lost that point. You had no chance to be able to hold it, and you basically throw yourself down the gutter. That's the moment where I can say, like, the Decapi-taters aren't dominating. It's rather Battalion are slightly throwing. You know, but maybe I need those comms. Maybe I need those ideas to be able to see. Either way, I need a miracle happen. I need Battalion to be able to come in looking like a completely different team, because right now they don't look like somebody who's been able to push it in this far. They don't look like the team that I've been expecting or really hoping to see throughout the entire season.
Yeah, and they'll have time to recollect their thoughts after a quick halftime. But before that, we have some updates for you in terms of other games that are not being streamed tonight. In the Harmony tier, we have Frost Nova versus Luminous Foxes. They are now 1-1 right now, tied up. A much closer game than it is right now. Same scoreline so far with Transcendence tier, God Hands versus Bird Society Ibis. God Hands going out, not early, but I mean, it's still championship bracket, but still, I mean, some people expect them to win it all, so
yeah,
maybe a little bit early, but having a tough time over there. And Echo Fleet over Paradise Lost there in the Discord tier, it's 1-0 for them currently. But we'll see how that shapes up the rest of our night as we go to a quick halftime break. Like I said earlier, get some water, stay hydrated, go to the bathroom if you need it. We'll be doing the same, and we hope to see you in less than 10 minutes. Welcome back, everyone, as we return to a game here in the Transcendence tier between the Decapi-taters and Battalion. Currently, in a very quick fashion, it would be. The maps have been very quick so far, besides that first one. Through 3-0 here for Decapi-taters. And this far into the playoff bracket, it's not something you expect, but Battalion is up against the wall and looking for some way to bounce right off of it instead of crashing and burning against it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. A lot of what's been going on here is Battalion sort of trying new things out, or maybe not getting their head fully in the game, and it's not been helping them against a team like the Decapi-taters, who have just seemed to have been playing at the top of their game, and at times kind of succeeding beyond that to the kind of individual extent that we've been seeing, especially when it comes to people like Truth and Char, Smuggles, who have been absolutely kind of showing up. It's the same with the support line. And now this is Battalion's kind of last chance to try and make something of it. I definitely think, especially on a map, something like Dorado, which is primarily an escort and primarily really good for dive and double shield, and that brawl can be very weak at times. I'm very excited to see. They've had a minute to breathe. They've had a minute to think about how they want it to go. So strategy and things take place. You have a lot of opportunities to kind of work around and switch how you want to do. But I mean, you could also use those 10 minutes to, not practice, not plan, or not try to mentor yourself down. Maybe you're caught up to in it. So I'm really hoping Battalion kind of switch things up, get the reverse sweep going.
Yeah, that's always the hope here at Tranquility. Everyone loves a good barn burner. I remember last season in the playoffs, man, oh man, was there a lot of barn burners. And it's kind of fallen off, and I believe they were mostly all with Gizmo. So maybe it's because Gizmo's not around today that we're not getting one. So I guess it's a blame Gizmo kind of day.
Expect that.
Don't believe. Yeah, we're gonna be hopping in here to Dorado, and can we see some fight back here, especially on a map like Dorado? It has some rush elements to it, but not particularly.
Yeah. So the thing about Dorado that I feel gives it not only that brawl element, but kind of the counter brawl element, is not only those high grounds, but those long turns and corners. There's a lot of natural cover that the brawl can thrive off of, but the problem comes is that you still have to walk through those light, long sight angles, and you still have to kind of maneuver around them, and that becomes a big problem against comps like double shield, which you're already kind of seeing. So it's understandable to not immediately see that Reinhardt kind of bit picked, maybe a bit more hesitant. The wrecking ball can definitely work, and I think competitions that more rely on using these angles and sight lines, you can be an absolute goat at it and be absolutely dominant. So, especially seeing this type of composition, which is heavy bunker, they even get off the Sigma because they just want to be denying as much value as possible. This is a very strong... We live in a society.
There's no shot.
No. Okay. I had a heart attack for a second. That's why I said we live in a society.
Would you rather not have a BAP there instead of the Ana?
No, you definitely want to be having a BAP there. The Honor's there for, like, the long-range healing just in case. I definitely think Baptiste is a lot better in here, but the Nano is such a good utility that it's an even trade at times.
Yeah, and they're going to be looking to set up here Smugs. And, of course, the side of Battalion, they're looking for something out of Pro Gamer here on this fair, and it really then does come down to how does Night Uzi look to shut down Smugs, and how does Chase look to shut down Pro Gamer, because those are the two other X factors. And of course you have a Diva on the side of Anima, and none for Lin. So I mean, one fair is definitely gonna have a harder time, I would say, and it definitely isn't Smugs. It's already gonna be the wrecking ball coming in here onto the Ash, gets the instant peel. That DM so effective at denying that fair damage. Oh, but they forget about it. The deputy pays the price, and now the fair is left without a pocket. They are in danger and they're under pressure. Pro Gamer is now free to run around, except when they get a little bit too close potentially, but great disengagement does come out via those rockets and some boops, and it's just everyone left to die there after an amazing play from Pro Gamer.
If there's anything of a collapse, that's basically that moment where you're kind of looking at them saying, what happened, definitely not respecting Pro Gamer, kind of moving in, maybe just underestimating them a tiny bit, and especially how much they're being able to push in. Look how much they're trying to just get these staggers and put in that aggression. As much as this Ana is good and it works, you have to be playing a certain way with it, and you have to be denying Telm so much room to be able to dive in there. Basically every time they move in, you should be punishing. Same with the Zarya, same with the Pharah, in every sense.
Really nice there from Pro Gamer to get a stagger onto Delphi. They're gonna have to get the res, but that's a res that can now no longer be used for smokes, can no longer be used for chase to facilitate them to go more aggressive. Instead, we're gonna have to mine off this high ground here, but it's just a suicide mines at that point. They instantly lose their life. Pro Gamer is looking for more of that value, but they don't have any more space to be created without that wrecking ball. Except if they just decide to do it themselves with the nano. The counter nano are gonna come in. I was ready to see if they popped that barrage there for Smugs, but no, they're looking for the taps. They can't quite find it. The first casualty instead will be Evade. The first part of that Fair Mercy duo is now gone, and Chase has to be looking for another victim right now, and he's gonna get the resources to do so.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of confusing when you keep calling them Chase, and then I'm like, wait, who's Chase? And because I can't read the name properly, I'm so bad at English. But they're being a true MVP. They're winning off these far fights and helping out Smugs a lot, and this is what's securing them a lot in that fight, because that barrage being used could have cost them a lot. However, now they've set themselves up for a good opportunity.
Yeah, and you already have to expend that res once again. A long and very costly cooldown as the bomb is going to go forward, maybe looking to find the Baron, that it does! And they don't have res for it! I just mentioned it's a costly cooldown to use just out of the blue, and so far they've hit a wall now. The first point wasn't as hard, they should have thrown the grab out, they still have the Orisa shield. The Anti's only gonna hit that Diva. It seems so desperate here. I believe they're gonna swap off the Diva, at least I would hope so.
As much as I would say I hope so, the Diva's there solely to put pressure on to Pro Gamer and on to Knight, which is what I fully respect, though the Sigma can do very much the same. I definitely understand the reason why you're going with that Diva. It's heavily much a bunker. You want to be able to stay in that same spot, you know? And so, I mean, Hog is something. Don't even worry about it. I guess we'll just have to see how it works, especially while they set up not only the barrage, but the visor.
You know, I believe if we get some statistics, there might be some correlation between not playing Hog and making it the grand finals for Battalion, but I might be mistaken about that so far. But obviously they could come back with this, but it just seems impossible for even their ball to make any value. Now this Hog has to run away, use the breather, he's gone. He can maybe take one with him. They're going to use the visor trying to pick him up from the backside, but what can they really do? The Bob is going to have to be willing to kill a Pro Gamer, but they've done their job. They get a lot of kills. It's going to be Delphi getting a little bloodthirsty, taking out that Mercy right there, but the rest of the team has to run back. They finally made some progress, but a nice stall so far from the Decapi-taters.
Yeah, though that anti helps them out, the respawns are not really going to be onto Battalion's advantage as much as you're really hoping. So, though picking out Delphi is going to help it out, the moment they touch that point, they're going to be coming up on abilities that'll help them have that long-term sustain.
They are going to be bombing up, trying to get that mech back to full HP, but the rest of their team is just dying behind them. They nanoed the Pharah into the back line, and we're seeing signs of life once again here from Battalion. For the last two maps, they seem to have lost it, but they've regained it just in time for the reverse sweep, or beat reverse sweep, as someone in our community loves to say, and I'm sure you all know who that one is. Can they do it? It's still to be seen.
Yeah, it seems they just kind of collapsed. They let themselves die really quickly, and that's where the Diva wasn't there to kind of peel in, and, you know, small positioning issues of just being caught out. However, being caught inside this small corridor is going to be a bigger problem when it comes down to Decapi-taters trying to play this double shield. There's enough room and natural cover for them to be able to feel fine, especially Knight if they take over the high ground. They have to be absolutely oppressive with the double shield, or you just get nothing out of it.
The hook, oh my, we saw the Hog do something instantly, gonna get traded out. They do still have that res, and Valkyrie to combo with it, looking to find it, but they're just in such a bad position. They're gonna go for the barrage, and there's no DM to stop it. They are gonna find the res right after Pro Gamer does go down after giving the life for the barrage. They can probably cap this point here with about 2 minutes remaining. That attack visor is going everywhere on my screen. Oh my, I've not seen that one before. That's a different one. That's a new one right there. This Pro Gamer actually ends up killing themselves with their own rockets. Not sure how that happens, but the rest of the team is gonna come back in, and that could give them the opportunity. Pro Gamer may have tossed it a little bit, as they don't have enough damage or value to really push this any further.
More than that, unfortunately, the respawns were very much in favor when it came to, you know, the defending side of how they wanted to immediately come back. Even if that bar was there necessarily and they were able to immediately pick people off, I feel the big problem came in is that the double shield was walking in and they're just going to be able to sustain themselves for a long time, though Deputy is being punished for literally just playing the game.
Yeah, Deputy has not been having a fun time so far, but instantly 2 picks going back their way, and I don't think they can find a res onto either of them. As I say that, though, it is going to be the ball getting their life back to them, but at the cost of the Mercy's own. They have to watch out for this Hog, though. Could be someone getting taken out. It's actually going to be Chase 07 in the chat. He's now gone to the piranha that is this Hog right now.
Hog is a very good character. Hog is not good when the enemy team is finally realizing they have a Hog. Maybe we should stack together, play behind our shields, and feel perfectly safe. Now the ultimates are no longer going to be kind of in a good position for Battalion, especially with the time being left. A lot what they're working with is needing to be that individual talent or baiting out the ult economies. They need to kind of optimize their own usage out of their kind of abilities. So whether that's a pull in a whole Hog, you're enabling Pro Gamer to kind of counter things out, or even getting that Transcendence out as fast as possible. There's a lot of opportunities.
Oh, there's a lot of particle effects on my screen in this room, also getting popped every which way, and in the end, it's gonna be the Decapi-taters taking the heads from their enemies. There's nothing they can do after that flux. They're all left in shambles.
Would you believe that Flux actually got canceled?
Yeah, it did, but it's kind of cool.
No, but I definitely agree, but it was so funny because Anima like, walks in after hitting the Flux and then gets hit by the hook by Lin, and I don't really know what you're expecting. Though this close hold is very curious, they cannot touch the point. There is no way. The Lucio took a very... No, they managed to get it out just barely, but it was a bad rollout. Okay.
Okay, I was about to say, they split their team there 3-3. That could have been bad if they didn't find a pick, but luckily Chase has it on stock, but they have the blade! They've been building up, it's all down to this. They find 2 chop, it's time! Decapitating the Decapi-taters as they're all losing their lives to this Genji. The ball is back to take out the Orisa. It's an Orisa Zen versus ball on this point. Who will reign supreme? Lin has the cooldowns available. We'll be going for it. The punch! The punch comes in and saves away Deputy. They can't even touch after. Oh, it's a chaotic ending to a chaotic map around so far. Woo.
Oh man, you know I want to apologize. I'm a Lucio fanatic, so you know, like if you miss if you miss like a wall or something, or like you don't go the exact way you're supposed to go because pro players go it, you know, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? You know, but they managed to touch, and I'm being way too judgmental. I think I need to be giving Battalion. Yeah, see, I need to give Battalion a lot more credit than what I've been giving them throughout this entire series, and because they looked a lot better there. Though I can credit that to just their opponents not being able to do much. Decapi-taters made a lot of questionable decisions. I definitely think weren't adapting correctly against it. However, they have set themselves up for a nice win condition, at least to get to that 3rd point, which isn't always the hardest thing to do, but it's still going to be a struggle because I feel Battalion are now figuring out how they want to play, and now they're working well against it. Pro Gamers not over-investing. Knight's finally getting a bit more peel and room to play the way they've been wanting to play. Telm is engaging first, and it's absolutely phenomenal to see. So I think there's a lot of opportunities to see them not only get this full hold, but possibly being able to kind of get this map off of them. However, in the end, I think that's more up to kind of Decapi-taters and how they choose to adapt around it, because they have the momentum in their favor. They just truly need to move in with it.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, it feels weird, right? Because it's such a stark difference from those last 2 maps. So I'm kind of having to like remove that from my mind in terms of how this team is playing and what they're kind of looking like, because it does seem very, very different. They have had some struggles on this map. Obviously, 2nd point was a wall for them, and that hook could have just taken out Delphi right there. But the great peel does come out from that D.Va. Something that D.Va just offers in spades is peel. You can never get enough peel for Delphi. Such a great honor for you. It's actually running a very greedy support line here.
Well, did I say Anima's been absolutely really good on the D.Va, and that's one of the moments where you're going to be looking closer. Pro Gamer's really going to be struggling to move in. Just a D.Va Discord. It's absolutely kind of oppressive at times against the Pharah, so unless you're really getting those direct hits, you're just struggling playing behind these walls, and the more that their team dies, the more it's showing.
Yeah, and now it's time to Decapi-taters. They can feel it. They can, now the ball is gone. They can start making some more space. Pro Gamers out in the air. Could be potentially caught out, but it's going to eat everyone on peel duty for truth here. Oh, 1 HP on the Roadhog. Finally gets taken out. Smugs finding that left click. Little finger blasters do their job. As it is gonna be the ball already back in time. They're gonna actually nano the Echo to take out the fair here. Oh, a massive flashbang to stop them from taking out Pro Gamer. And that could be able to turn the fight in their favor. Something so small and so simple as the flashbang could save everything as Pro Gamer comes up from the sky and just one taps someone on the head. Pro Gamer is absolutely popping off.
An absolute big brain play coming out of Pro Gamer to hit your shots, be able to hit those directs, and you stop that push absolutely quickly. The composition that Battalion are being able to play is very much going to have those kind of second to last second fights to be able to come back immediately. Now they have a bunch of ultimates, so as long as they just don't hit 3 Qs, I definitely think they're fine. A Nano Barrage is more than enough to win this out with a slam or just a barrage on its own. However, you just need to make sure that nobody gets picked early, especially Pro Gamer.
Yeah, and it does kind of come down to playing a little bit safer here with your carries as Smug's going to jump in. But Deputy is gone. You've lost that Discord, your way to get on top of people effectively. And now it's just going to be the Echo here going for them, but you've lost your backline. You can't... It's like you're trading your backline for nothing here. Just a bit of space, and space, unfortunately, isn't as valuable as your sports life.
Yeah, used a little bit more than I truly wanted.
Wait,
It was about... you know, you gotta live sometimes. You kind of need that primal against not only that Ana, but against Cassidy, who has not really done too much to be pressured out, has been playing the game. Though this is an opening, you have to take it.
Could try to look for the res, but they can't find it. They're gonna send Truth in, aided by that Nano on the backside. They don't find the sleep, and the Mercy dies for it. As right now, it's gonna be the Ana in this small corridor running with the Cassidy, but you don't have any help there if you are Truth, but that's not enough. You've done your job, you found your space, and you found the frags you need, and now, second point has unlocked for you to attempt.
Hey, it works well. They managed to bring that back, and once again, it's all up to Chase. Being able to find out Pro Gamer very early in that fight was the opening pick that they needed. I'm guessing this far, they're really kind of struggling against this far at times, and you know that's why they run the double hit scan. It's 100% an understandable sense, but they are not predicting what Pro Gamer is about to do next.
Yeah, and they're looking for this high ground. That's a questionable barrage, as there's a door frame in the way. Don't know how much... I mean, Pro Gamer's a non-barrage fair, as most of them are. We don't need those. We get rid of them. We actually play better without them. Our aim actually gets a buff when we don't have our ult up. So they're going to be looking for this backline as well, aided now by the wild fists of Lin. They're going to leave everyone in their wake, 49 HP, and they managed to get out potentially. Nope, Anima's going to clean that up, but they did quite a good job despite it.
A lot of respect for Deputy continuing to play the Zenyatta, but I think the Zenyatta is truly becoming a kind of big point of why they're struggling. There's no speed boost to push them in. There's no Mercy to damage boost, res, or add healing. And while, yes, there is that Discord, the Discord's not getting too much room, especially because you're mostly playing for that Transcendence, and now it has to be used the moment it gets popped.
Oh, the off angle from Uzi. They don't sniff it out quite fast enough. And they lose the Honor Fort. At least they got the Nano Boost off before they died, but there was no one to keep Truth up during that rain of damage. I mean, this ball is going everywhere. This ball went flying as the bomb on the high ground is going to clear it out. Everyone's got to run for their lives. The D.Va no boosters on this card is someone of interest, a target of interest, if you will, but Smugs could get poked out here. Not trying to lose their life right here. They just want to kind of consolidate and try to re-push this with some amount of cohesion here, as that's finally what they're going to do. The monkey is in, but he's not long for this world. Even with that primal, I believe it could go quite bad for them. We are seeing Evades here trying their best to keep Pro Gamer alive, and that they do. They've accomplished it! The barrage coming out finds Delphi as well. I just don't think... It's weird, because these DMs are usually on point here for Anima. They just haven't been these last couple times.
Anima doesn't know who to focus on, I think. The entire team is kind of splitting themselves up, especially. That makes it harder for Anima to kind of put their resources in, and now this payload, especially going into this 2-to-1 fight territory, is going to be extremely hard for Anima to kind of focus on. So many high grounds, so many people to focus out. So luckily, Char puts it in their favor.
Yeah, Chase doing a great job of keeping it in their favor. That high noon not quite charged enough, but it was going to fall out anyways. That does buy space for the res, but you give your D.Va mech for it. You give your D.Va bomb, your D.Va life. And now it's going to be the monkey jumping in here. Does have that nano going forward, and Bob is looking for it. Standing guard here. Truth just hanging out. Two homies hanging out, just looking at him.
two bros chilling in a hot tub 5 feet apart because they're not gay, as the phrase goes.
As the line goes.
Yeah, so this is what I've been waiting for. Notice how the moment Deputy goes on to this Mercy, they're able to get so much done. Chase is finally able to get inconsistent damage in, and that's nothing against Deputy's own Zenyatta. It's just Zenyatta's not really good against the type of composition that they're running. They're dying a lot, and it's not going to be looking good on the KD. However, this is now Battalion's chance. They really only need to win 2 fights, and as long as they don't lose anything and stall this out, they only need to win 1. It's a matter of kind of timing.
Yeah, and it was a minute to go. It's getting a little weird. Not weird. It's gonna be a little costly here. Any more time that you're leaking, and Telm is just gonna come in and clean this up. Might lose their life for it, but those spawns are right there. You can't be making these mistakes right now. You can't be getting staggered out if you are Decapi-taters. But they found it. They found Pogamer. They found Telm. Might just be the picks they need. They lose Smugs for it, but it should be fine. They can potentially get them back in the fight. But no, Lin denies it.
What are you doing in their back line? What are you doing? You little sneaky Roadhog. That's also how you should just be playing Roadhog. I think if you're not flanking on Roadhog, then you're getting a lot less value than you really should, because Hog is so annoying. Now this is a last fight territory. You're going up against 3 ults, 3 ults, but Battalion have been looking better when it comes to these engagement. They've been looking a lot better, especially on these executions. It's all up to Anima to be able to deny basically everything, and as much as I love them, that's too much for a diva to handle.
Yeah, and right now they're kind of in desperation mode. 7 seconds, that overtime is all but certain, but they found the Ana! They need issues, but they don't have any other peel. They're gonna have to find this fair as well. They find it! Smugs finds the kills they need. Truth gives their life, but it might just be enough. They almost have the Bob from Chase, and now the Hog is the only thing standing in their way right now. Both tanks are taken out of the equation. This is the time to go for that 4-0 in playoffs, setting a statement in this bracket, and it's gonna be the Cassidy here just rolling out into the demise. What are you doing? The Bronze by Delphi, don't walk into it. This could be a crumble. I don't want to say it, I don't want to curse it, but I might have just done so. The pro game is found looking up right now. All they have to deal is do with these staggers, and the anti-nade from Delphi is big, but they're dead again. No! We don't touch!
They see nothing. That was their fight to win. I can't believe it. What's a grand finals without a little bit of C90?
It's not grand finals, it's quarterfinals.
What's a finals nonetheless,
it's
you know?
Painful.
I don't know what to say to that other than that's your team getting so hungry and focused on the kills that you give Battalion their win. So at least Battalion don't have to say they got 4-0'd. So a great benefit. However, they did collapse under that pressure, and that's not great to see. They definitely look new. They're looking a lot better. They're looking a lot cleaner. But going back onto control is not really what you want, I think, especially because that leads into not only Lijiang Tower, but well, stuff like Nepal and such, where that's what they've been looking better on and what Battalion have kind of been struggling with.
I'm mentally defeated after that. I mean, it's so much to process in that fight. I mean, there's some despair. I mean, you're almost getting held. You got hope come in. You got the kills. You got the ult. Then there's just this moment of just pure panic. You heard me. I jumped up out of my chair, and then in the end, it's just sitting here like, what just happened? That was a 4-0 right there. I did curse it. What have I done? I have too much power as a caster. Someone take it away from me. I don't want this curse anymore.
You know, worse. I think I'm so numb to C9s. I want to just get out of my chair.
That was a bad
scream. But like, there is so much left in this series that I don't think I want to pop out that energy so early.
I have much more to spare, but oh boy.
Oh my goodness. I don't really know what to expect. I guess, you know, let's not focus on that. Decapi-taters, they better bring this in with an anger, you know. I better see them solo ulting, bringing that prejudice when it comes to Overwatch. However, our possible last map when it comes to this is going to be Lijiang Tower. Now, Lijiang Tower, this is a very good map, you know, especially if you're looking to get NFTs, because everybody's running the same thing, you know. So I think it's gonna be a very kind of hard. That's also you got the joke.
Yeah, I got the joke. It was just oddly placed.
Yeah, had to make my call-outs every once in a while, you know? Trank was just a now opportunity. But, Lijiang Tower! It's one of those maps, and you have a lot of opportunities, especially with something like Control Center. It's very heavily brawling, speak of the devil, and especially what you're seeing. It seems that they will be arriving. I can see a lot of opportunities of just Battalion being able to play that Wrecking Ball, but I don't think that's what they want to run. I think this is where Anima finally going to be able to get their revenge on that diva. They're gonna be able to kind of eat a lot, and especially since the main composition here is just pure spam. You play as annoying as possible with the two most annoying characters, Kongman / Symmetra and the Junkrat, which are going to be able to just move forward to spam you up, and the diva is really the only thing that stops that, besides from like a really good Reinhardt shield, though seeing Smugs on the Doomfish isn't too bad at all. I definitely think Pro Gamer is making a much better choice, while Lin is making a kind of risky choice that Sigma doesn't always benefit at times, but I definitely think Smugs is also running the risk as well. Doomfist does not always get that potential, and if you don't get it, then it hurts you for the rest of the game. So I guess we're just gonna have to see who gets more room, the Junk Trap or a Doomfist punch. You know, that's what you gotta ask yourself.
What if they Doom punch into the Junkrat trap? 200 IQ, it's coming in as... We're back in it! 3-1 now, Battalion fighting for that reverse sweep after what was almost certain defeat for them. They brought it back. Jaws' defeat have loosened a little bit as they have another map to play. But after a nice start to it, Pro Gamer finds out Smugs is the person that can get through your shields, take out your Symmetra behind the safety of the Reinhardt. And it's now going to be Pro Gamer. No one can touch them on this off angle, potentially that Baptiste, but they are preoccupied. I guess the Symmetra turret can, and will be pressuring them out, as right now there's been no progress made in terms of pushing the enemy team despite them having no Doomfist, and finally Truth is going to re-aggress only to their death. I guess all they needed was for the enemy Reinhardt to kind of walk into them slightly, for them to take them out, and Smugs once again losing their life to Pro Gamers, and that should be the fight. I hope my curse is kind of wearing off a little bit, and that it looks like it is.
Who knows? But Battalion, more than anything, took a very nice angle. They just pushed in. They have better spam, they have better shield pressure, unless Truth is being able to just absolutely build up their ultimates, and they're shutting people down, especially with Smugs. You're not getting much out of it. It's only going to be a bigger problem for Smugs to play into this game if they're not getting those one-shot punches, because Pro Gamer just basically can counter you in every scenario. Trap, rip tire, everything. So, trying to move into this is like stepping on a landmine.
Right now, the Flux will be coming out early. It whiffs on everything. That can kind of be a bad feeling when it's a Flux. It's so easy to shadow! It's massive fire from the ground! It's time to follow up! These are massive plays coming out from Battalion when they need them most. When they're on their last legs, and they have energy. Plethora of energy in the store. After what could have been a draining first half, they're roaring back in it on this round of Control Center. But we've seen this before on Busan. I don't want to get too hyped just yet.
Now, as much as this could be another Busan moment, it is very unlikely. Smugs is coming in. Wait, no, they used the sound barrier. Oh no, I cast her cursed!
Busan moment? It's the power of casters. It's just what we have. This is more like Mecha Base so far, but they still have control of that point. As I say that, it does flip over. But they can retake this. Actually, they have a lot of spam damage, but the window is going to mitigate a lot of that. They're going to be forward, looking to get past it as soon as possible, and that they do. It's been nullified. As even Night Uzi's gonna lose their life to the bomb. That could have been avoidable, but the Flux is gonna be massive. They have no cooldowns left. They have no resources. Everyone's hitting the ground, and they are all losing their life. This is absolute chaos, and it's best way so far for Battalion. They're gonna take this fight and look for a round fight, I guess. I don't know what the phrase was.
I don't know. I'd call that a fight nonetheless. Lin's Grid Flux was absolutely the carry there, did enough damage and gave them the room to be able to push in. Though losing out Lin is not really— Come on, I just gave you a compliment!
Stop it, we have too much power. It's too bad we have so much power. Is that Deputy's dead to a fire strike somehow and we're in the time? No, this has been absolute pandemonium so far. The Shatter gonna secure it, gonna clean it up. But again, we saw this on Busan with Mecha Base. They won the first one, lost the next two. If you're a Battalion fan, you're hoping that's not the case again.
Man, Battalion, they're looking a lot better. Comparably so, I think it's coming down to the individual and how they're taking their engages as a fight. They're very much a very poke comp. So the fact that they're being able to engage and make sure they're enabling Lin to build up these ultimates, Lin dying at that last moment. I'm sorry. I don't know if I like jinxed you or something. I'm done talking compliments about people. You're all bronzes to me. Either way, this is a very curious fight because I don't know how if Chase is going to be staying on to that Symmetra. Definitely probably not. I think this goes down to who has the better dives in this fight. As much as you can control the points, and especially as a Symmetra, I think you're going to be switching over, to that Tracer, and it's going to be harder for Knight and the rest of the supports to try to live out on that.
Not again. Oh wait, Tell him. Someone help Tell him. He's stuck down there. Get him out. Okay, he's good. He's gonna find his end. No, what? How? How does this happen? No, the ball is down there. I'm mentally going insane. I'm going crazy. They traded out, but Truth is gone as well. They forced out the res. They're looking for some.
Wait, whoa. I can't.
I can't. What is happening? No. What is happening? Guys, okay.
We live in a society.
User, take it. User, take
Alright,
it.
so
Great, no work.
here's what I'm gonna tell you. This is player mental just breaking down. They have played Overwatch for so long, they don't know what to do anymore. That was very bad on the side of the Decapi-taters. They definitely could have won that out, especially finding out Truth. They have a better composition at the kind of long term, being able to get these poke fights in, but somehow not only did Tracer fall off the map, that's pretty much an L moment, but the rest of this game is going to be looking to be in top 10 fails of the season.
This is insanity right now. As we'll see, Truth gets taken. I don't know what just happened there, but we do have them finally aggressing forward. Battalion that was countering that in spades. They have the damage. They have the resources available to deal with any form of aggression. They're running this really odd Mercy Lucio composition. They can't set up their tanks for anything.
Yeah, and it's feeling worse the further they're going out. They're now somewhat trying to switch up their composition, and as much as I think Lucio's nice and is a good attempt, it's not really going to be benefiting anyone. Now they're pushing in, looking to get any staggers. It just seems Battalion, they've switched things up, and they're ready to push forward.
It's always looked like that visor with all the... That's weird. That's a new UI bug. I've never seen that before, user.
I've definitely seen different varieties, but look, as this fight kicks back up, they are still not being able to push in. Decapi-taters are slowing down, and it seems they really want to push in, but they just set up for the barrage. Oh no.
Yeah, the barrage is going to be massive here. Gonna find Anima, take him out. Night Uzi's doing the same. This is 84%. It's just been... This map has been just completely chaotic, and it's been so weird. It's so hard to tell, like, what the teams are looking like when it just feels like everything... Delphi is just resing in front of 4 people. I mean, honestly, from the get-go of this round, it has been absolute insanity. They're gonna barrage here the Smugs. They find the ball, but what else can you? They have the DM to aid them. They have Pro Gamer here now with the Nano that one-taps on the Smugs easy with that Nano. And this is looking like the tides are turning. I'm gonna say it before the round is over. The tides are turning here for Battalion, but bring it back in this series. They were all but out at one point. They were literally a C9 away from losing 4-0. And now they've brought it back in quick fashion to a 3-2. They only need 2 more maps.
I don't really know what to say. I think what's catching me caught off guard is that Decapi-taters, they're not looking like the same team that we saw before anymore. Something about them feels a lot more rigid, feels a lot more clanky, feels a lot more slow, similar to how we saw Battalion kind of starting off on the series, but not exactly. Are they just padding in so Battalions can maybe get a couple maps and then they could say it was a really close series? I don't know. Though going on to Hybrid can possibly prove out and show us what exactly has been happening. My big concern is what exactly has been happening. What are we seeing these players do? What are we seeing them kind of commit to these fights? And it seems that Decapi-taters aren't really doing much anymore. They're kind of giving these fights up to Battalion, and I don't know. Maybe Battalion's whole game plan was to get it to map 3. At that point, Decapi-taters, their ego's up. They're tired, you know. They're no longer going to be able to play seriously, and that's how you get them. That's how you start playing like you mean it.
Yeah, and for those of you, as we take a little moment here before our hybrid map that we will be going into, I'm pretty sure. some score reports for you all that are waiting in the chat. I know some teams are fans of other teams competing in not only the Transcendence tier, but also Harmony and Discord tier. For Harmony tier, we've got Frost Nova versus Luminous Foxes. They are now 3-2. Same scoreline as our series right now. That's a close one. And I will kind of keep you guys updated as the night goes on about who's winning, who's losing, and about who's winning, who's losing in the Transcendence tier. God Hand will be our first winner in the bracket as they take the 4-1 win over Bird Society Ibis. So Bird Society Ibis are going to be taking a step out now, but I mean, they got very far this season, a lot to be proud of, but God Hand's back to God Hand things. They are looking for that grand finals again, but I believe they have a date with Alpha. Oh wait, there's a date with Alpha? Date with Devil Dukes. Different than Alpha, but still an animal, because that's a raccoon, and Devil Dukes are Tasmanian Devils, I assume?
Listen, all right, I don't think we really get paid enough or paid at all to understand these teams pure like animals and all that. I don't know.
Alpha's a raccoon, I know that.
Listen, I've casted Marsupial Gamings and everything looks like a cat to me, okay?
It's what? What do you mean it looks like a cat? It's a marsupial. It's very different than a cat.
I've only recently learned what a marsupial was, and I used to work for their org, so don't tell them that. Either way,
they should have onboarding. It's like showing a video of what marsupials are. I think that would have helped.
A little bit, but though coming in, our map is going to be Blizzard World, so you know, Decapi-taters. A full hold map if you're looking for one. This is a good double shield and bunker. You've been running this all day. You've been looking nice. You see 9 done Dorado with it, but still, I definitely think you're going to be going good. Battalion, though, it's a good Wrecking Ball map. I think there's a lot of benefits on both sides, and again, it's going to kind of kind of shrunk down into the individual talents and seeing who's kind of being able to engage in. If we're not seeing Decapi-taters kind of looking in for these long-range folks, not looking to combo their own abilities, then they're not going to be able to win out these fights. But if we see Battalion, you know, not pushing in first, not looking for those boot kills, not looking to kind of counterplay, and then again, this is all analyzing without knowing their composition, so even then, that's kind of more of a given rather than a fact and stated. However, I've got a big brain. I've read these players' minds, and I know what they're going to be running, so my points still stand. It's all about who is playing their composition the most optimally, and I think if you really want to be rude on the Decapi-taters, you switch out that Tracer for the Sombra. You know, it works. It works to a good extent. Take it from me. Sombra sucks. I hate Sombra, but if you played it, I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah, and something I forgot, not because I hate Discord tier, just to mention this, not because I hate Discord tier, we got a tirade about marsupials, and someone not knowing marsupials despite working for that org, okay? Paradise Lost is up 2-1 in the Discord tier, as that's also something interesting to look at who will come out on top. But again, you should know what a marsupial is, you worked for the org. But, we're not going to get in here. I mean, this composition, very similar, I would say, like to that Dorado.
I definitely agree. They are playing very up close, looking for as many opportunities as possible to be able to get in that poke damage, though at this moment, this is where they should be taking their rotations. Don't let that Pharah get as much as they can. That Pharah can absolutely shut you down at any point, and losing Smugs is not really a benefit that you're really wanting.
Yeah, and Lin is going to find that first blood there. Looking for another here is Talm, as it kind of just seems that the Decapi-taters holding up. This is completely different than what we saw earlier. This does feel like the momentum is building for a reverse sweep. Again, I have the power to curse things, and I'm not afraid to accidentally use it. So if this doesn't come to pass, blame me. Sure.
I just feel like something's not going right. Something in these comms are shutting down, and they're not being able to kind of bring back up what was working very good. And this has given Battalion more than enough room to be able to start getting those 2 points, and quite possibly they're setting themselves up for a third. The losing attempt isn't going to be too much of an issue. Pro Gamer having the barrage is the big problem that you have to worry about if you're on Decapi-taters. You can walk in as much as you want, but if they kill that Reinhardt, you basically lost.
Yeah, and the looking to kind of play poke here at main, waiting for that ball to come back. Talma has had a bad habit of kind of just rolling in at high velocity to the death, but this round is going to be evade. It's going to Guardian Angel straight into the bullets of Deputy Boss right there. And the off angle does force out that lamp, but not enough. Night Easy will be taken out. And Talm once again kind of standing there, giving his life to shoot down that lamp that was already almost dead. Not sure if that's quite right.
I definitely can agree to that sentiment of just kind of how they're investigating, but now they're wanting to move it. They're just setting up for the barrage.
This team is just playing so fast with no resources right now. They throw the nano in, but they don't have anything to follow up. And for that, they lose Pro Gamer. They don't even really get anything off of that barrage. The DM placement from Anima is useful, but I mean, that anti-nade was so massive. They're gonna push with the attack visor off of it. The Reinhardt so low, has to take so long to get healed back up. They use the ultimates in a way to get some space, but can they take this high ground away from the Decapi-taters? That is the question, and that really what it comes down to on the second point.
Yep, they're just being able to push in. They're using their ult's first battalion, looking entirely new. Look at this, already setting up that gravitic flux, not even waiting for their opponents to have a chance to breathe.
Yeah, and the Bob is going to get used, invested onto the cart to keep it down. The window as well. A lot of fire coming in, but Anima trying to farm up is going to get taken out. The window, though, aiding Chase and taking out the absolute menace that has been Pro Gamer. But right now, it's so split. Everyone is every which way. The Sigma is going to get ran down here. I believe they should lose the life. But the boop! No, you booped them away. They might live now. And the Ana is going to get the name. Speed onto the Ana. Killer. Get him. Oh, the Fire Strike is good, but Pro Gamer finds two. I mean, this is just everywhere. This doesn't feel like the Decapi-taters that we knew, really.
I think the Decapi-taters may be just tired of this game. Maybe they no longer want to play Overwatch, and so they're slowing a bit more down. But that's me trying to have a little bit more of a funny twist in it. I definitely feel it's Decapi-taters aren't really being able to play as well to their win conditions as before, while we're seeing Battalion. They're starting to get better, and when you start getting better, the enemy team starts looking worse. I think comparably both sides are looking to improve as they're going on, but Battalion, they're starting to pick up the pace.
Looking for something here. Truth does get antied up. They are attack visor and kind of trying to keep Pro Gamer in play, but I mean, you spent half your attack visor just running up some stairs. That's not the best value you can get out of that. Doesn't make you run faster, just makes you shoot better. And that's not going to result in anything, so you can't even use it. The D.Va, the last bastion on this point, gonna be throwing the bomb out. Who dies to this is the question. No one. Good. No one should have died to that.
I feel like you were trying to set up to something like that was basically a threat saying who dies to it.
Okay, it kind of was, man. I will publicly. Never mind. We'll not go there. I love all of you.
Listen, I don't. You're ready to call out a player at a moment's notice, and I truly love that respect. Now they're just being able to move forward. The Wrecking Ball composition only gets stronger as we go farther out, though that wall is nice. Look at that flux.
Flux is gonna find that Lucio dead in the air before they can even hit the ground with the lamp, but well timed from Truth to catch them falling daintily down. But the res is available and not gonna result in anything much.
It's a Justin Timberlake song, I'm pretty sure, or something. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of like that song that goes like down, 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 just because Lynn went down, down, down. My puns are terrible, I'm sorry. But we are seeing them kind of mess up with the way they're taking their engages. They're not really prioritizing any more of these resources. As much as they're getting these picks and they're nice, they're not killing or really focusing down anyone. They're trying to all get a different target.
They have to deal with Night Uzi first. Lynn, Menace, finally taken out. Some reprieve has been built here for Battalion. Not Battalion, Decapi-taters. They are the ones defending, as they are managing to stave off the aggression so far. Chase is aware of this ball, but how much will that help?
I don't know how much, quite honestly. Just look, we already see the Brawl moving in forward, and as much as it's being able to do pressure, that's mostly because of the Bob. Bob just does so much chip damage over time. I don't think Afara really wants to kind of compete against that. And the Visor kind of gets caught out, so you're not really going to be getting any benefit from that. Luckily, the Brawl is starting to seem to stabilize, and they're feeling their rhythm to kind of counterplay against it, because the Wrecking Ball composition still works really well on this specific point. It's just if you don't play against it correctly, it's going to be able to pop out, but they seem to be working fine now.
Mines are used to split the team. They are completely just in different dimensions. The Nano comes out, keeping them alive. They could probably pop the barrage, but they aren't doing so just yet. The beat has been invested here from Delphi. I mean, Pro Gamer does not know how to get through that wall. Just waiting kindly for it to politely go away. As double melee kill for Tem, as some backroom brawls are coming out, and the Hamster is all too ready to brawl as a member of the Junkertown fighting arena.
What are you gonna do when that Wrecking Ball dives into you, and then the barrage from the Pharah is like really toxically kind of going after you, trying to figure you out?
He's so sad. Look how sad he is. He's frozen. How is that? Okay. But the ball, very sad. Telm, extremely sad. Was frozen for about 10 seconds there. Did not get to play the game. Took the hand off the keyboard. They will get the rest in the Pro Gamer. They're like everything in the Pro Gamer stocks here, but will get taken out shortly. The Crush actually getting onto Trippy, but I hope that doesn't dissuade them from continuing. It's been a good push so far.
Ana has had their moments of shine. This is once more going to be that opportunity. However, this is going to be a last fight push. I think it's going to be much harder on the Wrecking Ball composition just because you need time to set up. You need time for that engagement. And you're not really getting those prime opportunities. The brawl is somewhat kind of slowing you down as not everyone's being able to walk in with you, especially with Charlie being able to play, not Charlie, you know, being able to play so back forward. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, Charlie's now, Charlie's not what I'm just kidding. No, I won't call him that. Pro Gamer's first one gone. Smug's doing a great job of keeping them at bay with that 6-shooter, showing them who they need to fear right now. It is going to be Smugs. Can they get in and deny them from getting those picks like that? I mean, Pro Gamer can't be the first one getting picked out. I mean, even so close, you can't even get that res off, but they're going to put the nano onto them. All the things to Pro Gamer. We live or die by Pro Gamer right now. The nano hasn't found effective. No, you can't mess up your rollout like that. They're gonna try and find the barrage comes out, but they lose their life, instantly traded out by Chase there. The slam is massive, and this could be them getting held, but no, they kind of split up the charge a bit this time. The High Noon comes out, but they have beat. Luckily, Delphi's on the case to keep them alive. Trippy's trying to touch here. It's gonna run at the last second, get the anti, but that's not gonna be enough. You're an Ana alone against 5. And they defend it, as I might curse it. No, Smugs, you gotta kill them, right? Yeah, cool.
I'm not gonna lie, I lost myself on that barrage. That felt a little bit prejudiced, you know? That was hit. That was the second time that's happened this match. And I gotta feel like, you know, something behind it. Something, they said something, and I don't think they liked it. So, yeah, another opportunity. Just like Dorado, I think this is absolutely a perfect opportunity to kind of compare those maps to this and kind of give those ideas. I think a lot of what we've been looking at is Decapi-taters being able to kind of step up at small moments, but overall they're now not looking like the stronger team. They're not really taking those engagements as early as we've been wanting to, as well as I feel kind of the talent around them, and maybe that energy that they started bursting out with has started to slow and simmer down. A lot of playoff teams suffer from coming in and doing absolutely amazing, but the longer they play, kind of the less they show up for it. And I think this may be an opportunity to kind of point that out, especially because Battalion, they've now warmed up. They've now been looking a lot better. This isn't the first team that we saw like walk in and get full held. You know, they've been holding their own, and they've been able to take these first caps often by the first fight.
Yeah, and if you are Decapi-taters here, you are sweating if this goes to a map 7 after what the conclusion of Dorado was heartbreaking. But worse so is the anxiety that has to form when you are going into a map 7 based on that mistake. If you potentially get reverse swept in a series because of a C9, that is mentally crushing, soul crushing for a team. And so they are praying to stop it here. If it goes to that map 7, I could see it. I could see it with the telescope. I could definitely see it. As the Pharah might just be that key to pushing them to that map 7.
There's nothing worse than rotating and there's a Pharah / double shield being able to poke and spam you out. This is where it's literally just, if the brawl isn't fast enough, they die every time. Or you have to be able to rotate onto those high grounds. Deny the ability of them kind of playing around, though. They don't seem like they kind of want to go exactly on those ideas. Maybe just flat out wanting to try and counter with the Sigma, though the D.Va does a better job at that. It's all about rotations at this point. If they're not fast enough or accurate with it, they die every single moment.
Swapping off to the Sigma, this is a decision that I don't know if I completely agree with. You need that DM to keep them alive from the spam damage right now. The shields are not enough. There is so much projectiles jumping into your backline. Look how aggressively they're holding you right now. Your shield is not going to last very long. You're waiting for these walls to put you into this fight, to put you into a position of winning right now, but you can't really find it. They're going to spam you on every opportunity, but they might be flying too close to the sun here.
It just sucks. Though that window at least sets them up. Look at Pro Gamer. About to make a Pro Gamer move if they didn't get caught out for that second.
Might die for this.
No, they're gonna be fine for a little bit longer. They're walking out of the range, but the problem just comes is how are they gonna be able to break through this? They're potatoes, not fries.
The flux is the lock is massive. They're animal, but isn't enough They finally get on top of them with the Rhine. He's swinging on a Sigma, but can they do anything there? One shot from Uzi there, and it could have just spelled the end of the entire push. But the cryo in front of the Ash is not what you want to see, and you are shaking right now if you're Decapi-taters. I'm gonna be honest.
I definitely agree. And that's mostly because you had a very good opportunity to kind of push in. You cancel that flux, but you still lose it out. Meaning that they used one ultimate, and now they have 4. No, 5. I'm sorry. I forgot to realize that Tell built up that bongo so quickly. This is becoming a bigger issue of now Battalion struggling to make these counter compositions, struggling to kind of play these to their strengths, and Battalion adapting around it perfectly.
Right now, you're hoping for anything here. You're gonna push with that window behind, but they have plenty of ults to counter you with. How do you react to the Pharah and the bongo combined? That is the question. The bongo is down straight in front of them. They're gonna have to use the E effectively. If you're the Pharah here, you're kind of just trying not to get taken out, but there's a Cassidy all by themselves, almost gonna get taken out before they can even get into this fight. The beat is gonna have to be messed. They finally got it. They've done it. They've gotten on top of them. The Cassidy though might be in trouble. Is by themselves on point, but they've traded out. The Bob is available though, and the barrage could be massive. They're gonna just throw into it, straight into them through the shield. They're gonna burst through it, and the Lucio should be next. As Pro Gamer is making their moves here, the solo flux onto the Ash. I don't know if it's enough. They finally take it out. But Pro Gamer is a problem that must be solved. On the test, this is just the one you're stumped at. You don't know which option it is. You can't figure it out for the life of you.
The fight's not over either way. I can't even give my analysis because look, they are still pushing.
I mean, how can you push into this right now? You're down members. They have respawns. Trippy has to pop the window. The only thing is, Trippy hasn't gotten any healing just yet, but the regenerative burst comes in. The shield, you're standing there for truth. You don't know what to do. You're bamboozled. You're absolutely flabbergasted right now. The shatter has to go onto the Sigma. The pin vacuums it in. You might take them out, but the lock delays you and you lose it. This is a full hold right now for Battalion as they look for a reverse sweep. This would be incredible if this is accomplished.
If it is absolutely. Battalion have just put something inside their G Fuel, and I can't believe that we are at match point with both sides. This is absolutely impressive. It just seemed that the Decapi-taters, they stopped playing to their win conditions. They stopped playing to their optimal position. And remember what I said about Battalion very early on. They've been one of those teams that have been able to bring it back when they need to. They've had those clutch moments, and this is by far one of those scenarios. But Decapi-taters, I think the last thing you want is a reverse sweep on your record after being the 2nd seed. You guys are slowing down. Hopefully, especially, they need a minute to breathe. They need a minute to just take a second, talk to their coaches. What is going wrong? Especially since they're no longer kind of playing as fast as they did, and it's only going to get worse, especially because they only have very few subs to kind of switch in, to kind of maybe adapt around it. While Battalion, I think they're more than ready to just walk into the next map and try to take it as hard as they can.
Chat needs some help here. I am not the lore master of Tranquility. Battalion, though, I remember this being a thing in their playoffs. Did they reverse sweep someone last season?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
I'm really sure they did. And I feel like they did. That is something that resonates with me on a spiritual level, is that they did do that. And I believe I may have casted it. Don't know if I remember it though. But I mean, this is honestly insane to me. After that 3-0 start, it has been a complete 180 so far for both of these teams. And I'm in here for the long haul. I mean, I was ready to just be like, okay, 4-0, move on. But Battalion, they were in that lower seed, and they fought through that for a reason. They fought through the elimination bracket. They have seen much worse than this. They've been down far worse than this before in the entire tournament. And now they are ready to take it all, potentially. Try to push their way. Of course, after this, they have Alpha, which no one wants to face Alpha. But, I mean, you can have another life.
I am just absolutely flabbergasted that this content is considered like free. So, you know, especially with this amazing game, if you, you know, just a small like heads up, if you want to show your support, I recommend just hitting that follow. Just give absolute love to these players. This has been such an insane series going in. And I don't think we really kind of came into this kind of expecting, like, we wanted it to be this close, but I don't think, like, it really was that. And luckily enough, the last map is going to be Route 66. There is nothing you can do to draw on this point besides both of you not touching that payload a single meter. This is the final destination, and I feel like there's nothing better than that old cowboy standoff type of map. This homes itself to a lot of opportunities, a one cinematic, and more than anything, one of these teams will be able to move further within their own tiers finals.
Yeah, I mean, it would be you are not happy right now if you are Decapi-taters. You are, like I've said multiple times, and this is because I've been not in like the exact situation, but in similar situations where like they're fighting back and we are on our last legs and we're just like, guys, we cannot lose like this. But they are on the precipice of losing just like that, and they're rolling out here with this ball Zen Brig composition. This is a lot of skill to execute. Can they do it?
I got like a sneeze coming on, you know. I feel like somebody's talking about me. It's probably these players, you know. They're like, they gotta stop talking about us and us playing. They're cursing us to every degree. And you know.
They liked it better when our Discord audio was muted. They liked it better when that was the case.
Notice how the moment we started talking about Battalion starting to get a little bit better, they just immediately started to kind of get that skill in back onto Dorado. The Wrecking Ball compositions are going to be basically how they've been similarly to before. Once again, Deputy has to play as carefully as possible against this Pharah. They have to just do as much as they can to shut down Pro Gamer. This is looking like it could be an absolute full hold on both sides, or an absolute like payload push 4-4 type of scenario.
Oh.
But it seems Pro Gamer says otherwise.
And they're under fire, but they're gonna live through it. They've lost their Brig. Now it's time. The Zen is for the pickings right now. Everyone is having to run back. There's no Brig to save them. They have to commit all their tanks to do so, and Chase is being chased away right now by this ball. Not the situation you normally see, but Tel may bit off more than he can chew with that 1v1 that they're taking. It's going to be a split composition for both these teams, but right now there's a lot of damage under both the tanks here for Decapi-taters, and their composition has no way of healing both of them at the same time effectively. It is very single target healing. You want to deny damage more so than you want to take it and soak it with healing. Well, right now, it looks like it's going the way of Battalion so far. Talm is on a warpath right now, and they might take out Lin. They are burning away, but Trippy is not going to let that happen on their watch.
This beta, they're being able to work as a unit, and the Wrecking Ball was able to get a lot done. Pro Gamer, though, is having so many problems trying to poke out. Notice how they're playing the ground Pharah, and that's really not what you need to be having, especially having the High Noon and the Barrage. You can definitely one-shot take this fight out, but without that Wrecking Ball as an engager, you have to use this Nano.
Surprised they aren't using something of a tracer to follow up with that ball onto that Zen, but instead opting for the Cassidy. I mean, maybe I should just stop talking about things, man. As they just, everything's going wrong, and they die, they take someone out. The Ashe and the High Ground might be losing their life to Pro Gamer right now, but the rest of the team is looking good. Does Pro Gamer do it? Did they go for the spawn camp? Well, it won't be very long-lived if they just take him out on the wall.
That was another moment that you saw, like, prejudice come out. Pro Gamer really hates Smug. I don't know what Smug did to them, or has it just been this series and, like, continuously shut them down? But it's looking like they're not really, they're panicking. I think the anxiety is starting to get to them. They're not collapsing as a team. As much as Telm is getting a lot of these picks, Pro is not getting enough room to kind of move in, and that's speaking volumes, especially when people like Delphi and Deputy are dying.
Isn't finding the weights on the value. They're just gonna bomb out the signal. Oh, yes! They needed that. They need this momentum. The Decapi-taters, they might be like, okay, we see 9 just to give you some hope. A minute 20 left to go, and they're looking strong. But here comes the real test.
I definitely agree. That was a beautiful bomb. I was absolutely caught off guard. Automata stepping that plate up. Now with a minute on the clock, both ultimates somewhat even. Pro Gamer that wants to try and barrage this, but they are already predicting it.
running away. They have to run, but Pro Gamer found Delphi despite it. And this is maybe where they start making this first point. It's still a good hold. We do not have to be doomers yet, as Pro Gamer should be losing this 1v1. Doesn't have that Mercy there to pocket them up. As this isn't even the fight over just yet. It's just going back and forth for now. The soldier has to be dealt with, though. There it is, finally. Pro Gamer resurrects back to life just to do just that.
A lot of resources were being put into that Pharah barrage. Well, on the side of Decapi-taters, they were so scared of Pro Gamers falling down on them, they stopped paying attention to Tel. So the moment that dive came in and, well, Pro Gamer is able to take out your Brigida, there's not much deputies going to be able to have when split off of Anima, who's trying to make sure that Pharah doesn't pop into barrage. Your full hold is now gone. This is possibly an opportunity where you can now stop them here, because it's a really big open spot, so not only is your soldier and Tracer going to have a lot more opportunities, it's going to be less for Battalion.
Looking for something here. The res gives them that man once again. The barrage coming in. It finds two. Anima's not there. Too busy trying to take out Night Uzi. The rally is doing a great job of keeping them alive so far, but Lin is under fire right now. Doesn't have that breather just yet, but it's buying time for Pro Gamer to do the damage they need. But they could be under threat very soon. But only a D.Va shooting them. There's not much they can do. No DM either. They're losing that mech. And now for the next fight. Oh, Smirks comes back. I don't know if they have the res for it. They used it early that last fight. But thus they do have it. And the threat, the alpha threat is back.
Such a risky res in that poor Wrecking Ball. It's gonna be, it may be able to come back, but still, it's looking like it's Battalion's favor just because they're having a bit more respawning clutch type of opportunities. However, on the opposite side, it just seems Decapi-taters are kind of getting a lot more Not like this.
Shooting their body? That's not nice. I guess there's some picks going their way, but can they use that in any capacity? The Visor is going to come out trying to take out that Pharah. Trying to take out the Mercy. The Mercy Guardian Angel was a little bit too fast. A little bit too far, and they lose their life for it. Odd things happening.
A little bit of trolling, I'd like to say. That was a really good reset on the side of Battalion. The moment they lost their Mercy and a couple other people, they immediately went back. I also like the fact that when we saw when them spending time on the Wrecking Balls off the map, we just went silent. That was just so random.
It's a 07 somber moment. If you can't tell, I love 07. Put that in the chat.
I truly respect it, but it's gonna matter to see how they deny these abilities. Once again, it's a moment where they have to worry about the barrage and other abilities, and they're putting too many resources in trying to deny the Pharah.
Here it comes, it's time! You're not gonna save your Brig! And your D.Va as well is gone! Transcendence as well with sustained damage, but not with the nano barrage! And they're gonna make their way through the second point, hopefully. That's what they're hoping. At least they lose one late, though they should have res for that. And it seems like right now, at the last moments of these points, they managed to clean it up in time. Are they gonna go for the recast? That's especially Delphi 1 HP.
Well, it seems that they are, but I mean, Transcendence is not one of those abilities you can use against a barrage.
They're coming back in, but only into a really set up Battalion here. Can they do anything? The Tracer Pulse Bomb, which was your kind of what you needed to be the X Factor here.
Oh my.
The 180 flashbang into hook.
That's how the West.
He didn't stand a chance.
At least get the one clip in, you know? At least get that opportunity. I think the Battalion is not being able to, well, no, Battalion is being able to kind of win in these pressurized moments, and it seems that's what they're kind of more, not relying on, but what they're being able to achieve off of. Look at that, focusing out truth, knowing where they're going. They just have to stop the Pharah who's been oppressing them the entire game.
Yeah, and the rally is going to come out early. You're happy that it's coming out now and not the last fight. You really don't want to walk into rally right now. They're going to just stave off, back up, wait for next. They almost have that Nano Barrage, a staple for them. That's just exactly what they're looking for.
They're getting themselves a nice room to be able to push in, especially with Truth's own Minds, but look how much damage they take. It's not even worth it to attempt to pop it. With 30 seconds on the clock, this is a last fight territory for both sides.
For that nano. Throw it on the Pro Gamer. It's already gone. The barrage. They're looking for the Zen. Not even gonna pop it. Understanding that it's death if they do. They're gonna pop it after the damage used. So smart from Pro Gamer. They find 3 because of it. Not even gonna lose their life. The mines so far from Truth have been ineffectual at best. But they found the cannons themselves to be much more their style. Truth is 1 HP, finally gone. They could full cap this map But Deputy Bass with that Transcendence has something to say about it, as it's gonna be tough to come in.
Trying to do as best as they can, but this is one big staggered fight that is not in Battalion's own favor.
Don't really have a way to keep through here. I mean, I would be absolutely shocked if they managed to cap this here. Anima Bomb, just gonna close it out.
No, so there was a double edge to that barrage. So when that barrage comes in, it immediately resets their timer. Notice how basically everybody was able to come right back in and basically feel fine, pop out their ultimates, and kind of immediately come back in. So it was kind of that big point. And once again, this is another really nice opportunity, and I mean with like a capital R, really nice win opportunity for the side of Battalion. They've been able to hold, we've seen the full hold, and they've been able to continue pushing forward when they are stressing. So, I think a matter just comes into it is, does Pro Gamer get shut down? More than anything, Pro Gamer's been getting a lot of these picks, a lot of this splash damage, and has not been shut down at all. And we're in a tier where I kind of expect it to be more, you know, more of an opportunity to be killed, more dangerous to be able to play that far, but being able to kind of succeed on it is absolutely impressive, especially just the passive play, being able to kind of bait out Anima. It's, you know, you're showing yourself up as a top kind of MVP candidate, especially for the finals. You know, your players have got to be kind of helping you out, though I'm wondering how much of each side mentals are kind of on the limit right now.
I mean, this has gone the distance. 7 maps, and again, the storyline so far is that if this is a loss here for Decapi-taters, it is predicated off of a C9 on Dorado when they could have 4-0'd. That is the equivalent of Battalion snatching your soul out of your body and taking it with them.
You know, I played Mortal Kombat. I definitely can kind of agree to that, though, Lin.
My.
Doesn't really have much healing and is barely going to be able to survive, you know, eventually escape and punish, but it's equal trades on both ends until we see that kind of counter swap.
Is going to be massive here. The ball doing exactly what they need to do against that double shield. And it's just easy picking so far. Everyone is split. And I think it's like the first time we saw like an actual like kind of semi-normal comp here for Battalion. And it's not off to a good start, I must be honest.
Wrecking Ball is so good on this point. Also, those 2 early picks did not help them at all. Truth is going to be able to deny so much just by booping people off the high ground, though the big problem, once again, Pro Gamer, who has absolutely been shining with the help of Tem and Lin, as same with Events. I've not been talking about them enough.
Discord is exactly what they're going to have to use to get back into this, but with Chase gone, they've lost their backline access outside of that ball. There's nothing they can do. They've retaken this first point. And this is where they can set their hold right back up. They have to watch out for Truth on the Wrecking Ball, but I'm sure they can.
You know, I can definitely feel it. The Wrecking Ball is really strong in pushing back in, especially with that Tracer's help. Pulse Bomb can be absolutely devastating, but so can Pro Gamer's own Barrage if they're not kind of getting away with it. A lot of the resources are trying to be put into this Pharah, but then ignoring everyone else, so they're trying to pay attention to everyone else and then get hit by the Barrage.
The Zen walks up there to take higher ground. Pro Gamer is sitting in a corner with a Pharah with a Mercy Pocket and solo barrages them. Don't think that's what Deputy thought they were gonna walk into. As ooh, nice shots from Uzi there. I mean, this has been insane.
It's been absolutely rude to a high extent, and now with the less than 2 minutes on the clock, you gotta be asking yourself on Decapi-taters, what are we doing wrong? How are we failing these executions? I need to be seeing them move in a lot more as a team. They have ultimates. That barrage is not gonna stop. I mean, that trance is gonna be stopping a barrage. If you can do as much of a Widow headshot with the barrage, you'll be able to die.
Kind of ask the question, what is this Ashe really able to do into the double shield? Bongo is going to be used here. They're literally just trying to push past it with the Transcendence, but Truth just dies through Transcendence, literally sitting right next to it. They're going to try to take the thing out in the air. The Bob is going to aid in that. Pulse on the backside isn't enough though, but oh, they missed the headshot after the flashbang. That was maybe the way to close out this fight, but they don't find it. Instead, they only find their lives fading before them. Pro Gamer is back in the fight. Absolute Menace, but already 1 HP. The Baptiste has no easy access to heal them, but Smarts is already down, looking for the mega health packs, the mini health packs even. but they will get the res off, and that should be the first point falling away. This is very similar to how Battalion found it the first time. They're trying to chase down this Pharah, despite it being alone in the back line with 50 HP. They finally managed to do that and cap first point.
This is a moment where we're being able to see both of these teams' weaknesses kind of pop out when these high intense moments start to happen. Lin could have lived, but really wanted to poke out and try and deny dying, so they walk in front of the Bob and get killed out. Once again, very close, as you said, to that kind of full hold and then kind of bringing it back, so I could definitely see it. But then Lin goes on to the Roadhog, which has been a continuous problem throughout the entire series.
To hear what they can do. Cassidy finds the ball, finds the stun, finds the hook! This could be Truth's death, and that's it is! The barrage as well is going to be used to take out 2 in the backside. They've been so good at finding out Truth and securing kills on the backside. They lose Pro Gamer, but can they get the res up? I'm not quite sure. They might lose the Mercy for it as well. That could have been an over-aggression. The spawns are right there.
No, absolutely an over-aggression. You're poke. You're supposed to be playing as far back as possible. There's no real reason why you really want to go in for those stagger kills. As much as, yes, they are a stagger kill, there's not many to benefits. You are basically already holding them that close.
Truth might die again. Truth, you gotta stop doing this, man. You are the only way they can get into the back line, really. Your Tracer can try and help, but they're only one Tracer. But no, you don't need to worry. Smugs has your job handled. Lin is on the flank though, and Lin with the Roadhog on the flank, you lose evates. That could be the end for the Pharah, but you don't get a kill. The orb comes in, and you don't find the hitbox.
Man, it's at every moment these players are showing up at every kind of opportunity that they have, and it's absolutely impressive because I can't really predict who's gonna win. Though getting this Bob out is at least gonna let them cap this point, but that is so big when it comes to your next push. You're not gonna have that to be able to help yourself, and as far as that payload in, you want every advantage that you have.
I think they found out this Mercy Zen composition really punishes the fact that Uzi isn't looking towards the Tracer. It can't get onto the Zen very easily. They don't have anything for that. So it really is allowing them to be as greedy as possible. Mercy is burning on the has to run away, but the Bongo is going to do a good job of zoning them. They're going to try and mine it out. It finds that everyone's low. They're doing a good job of keeping everyone alive. They're going to use the Transcendence to push forward, but get the one tap. One shot onto the Tracer with that damage boost to Pharah rockets. Could potentially lose more as well, but you're going to use the cover of the actual panic right now that's happening to find that res for both sides, and they're just looking for something through this window. Can they find a key pick here? Maybe onto this Tracer once again, looking for that one tap as they're trying to go on the Baptiste. They can't quite find it. They lose their life, and the whole begins with this. This is their only opportunity. Baptiste. Oh, but they lose their Baptiste. They don't have res for this, I don't believe, unless somehow they've gotten it back off cooldown.
You're seeing weird lines if you ever think that res was even slightly possible. Look at that immediate punish. The moment they even try to play the game, absolutely destroyed. Though these picks are kind of even in trade and that pulse bomb almost finds the Mercy, they're not really being able to kind of close it out, though these are equal trades.
There's absolute chaos happening. Truth is 61 HP, having to run away. They're going to burn this Bob instantly. 1200 HP disappears before your very eyes. The pull is good! And it finds Smugs. Really nice set play there from the Orisa and the Cassidy. Find the kills. Look at Truth in mind. You've lost this fight already, Truth. I'm going to have to be very critical of Truth's ball here in such a key map.
That's how the West was won.
Come on! I'm gritting my teeth by the hook. They fought back so far, but the Wrecking Ball comp just does not have that long-term sustain, nor do they have Lin on the Roadhog, who's being able to get these kind of big picks. Same with Pro Gamer. Now the ultimate's no longer going to be helping them out. This may be the reverse sweep that we've all been waiting for, and I am absolutely choking at the neck.
Bongo early. Should have the next shield to cover it. Can't peek, you can't push. They're doing a good job of catching out these tanks potentially. Looking for the barrage. They're going to find it here on the Anima. Truth is forced out once again. There's nowhere they can go to try and live this so far. Shots are coming into the backside from Pharah. The damage was having to substitute now that the Bongo is gone. They're going to look for the push now. But Truth could lose his life very quickly. They're going to have to Transcend to keep him up. Pro Gamer almost getting one clip. Where's your Versi? You need to heal Pro Gamer. Doesn't even need it. The Valkyrie is popped just for that reason. Lin in the backside does get caught out. Smugs is dead. Look at Raj, but they can't fight it. My brain is melting. My brain is melting. Everything's going wrong. And the bomb finds Truth. This is massive. Deputy finds down, but they take out Smugs. They don't have anything here. 1 second remaining. 1 HP. Lynn by themselves on the point. 1v4. Can they get out here? Doomfist is coming back. Lucio is here. It's stall time, baby. And this is where I thrive. I remember this town. Hit the rollout onto Charmin. It's there now. Gone. Chase is dead. Doomfist coming back, looking for the punch on anything, anyone. Gonna find his opposite. Can't quite find it. Discord is doing a great job, though, keeping them under pressure. The Reds coming out during the panic. The Bastion is on the field. Can they take them out? No. They're mowing them down. Finally, the Bastion gets it done. Trippy finds another kill, and the ball is looking for more. Trippy is coming up. Trippy is flanking, cementing. They're looking for the reverse sweep. This was a C9 away from a 4-0 loss, and they have done it. They killed the Doomfist. It is over. They have won.
I
The
can't.
reverse sweep Battalion does it again.
What a reverse sweep of the series! That was over in a second! And that was trippy.
Trippy is a god.
That immortality to help that Bastion live for a little bit longer, forcing down their resources.
He actually missed the Bastion.
No, it hit the Bastion a little. It hit the Bastion. The Bastion was inside the immortality, or else they would have died almost immediately. It was the fact that the immortality came out and they focused their time onto it to immediately get everyone out. Oh my, I feel so bad for Decapi-taters. They had the moment, but the respawns were not in their favor. They didn't have the resources anymore, nor of the ult economy, and it crushed them to such a degree that Battalion, they get the reverse, and there is nothing better than getting that reverse sweep, because now you have so much confidence in this series. This was such a roller coaster. At first, we talked so curious about them. We were so uncomfortable with how they were playing, but then they improve, then they show up. And they make an amazing play. Decapi-taters did absolutely the best they could. And I definitely think that if they won, I would have not been surprised. I definitely was more rooting for them. I was very excited for them. But however, I am not disappointed by that series from Battalion.
The reason why I was so excited going to that last fight, it reminds me of a great time I had last season in a cast in playoffs. Same exact situation. 2-2 or 3-3. Map 7, looking for the win, and it is a fight that lasts 4 minutes, and I don't shut up the entire time, and it is still one of the most fun times I've had casting, and I'm so glad to have replicated it here. Battalion is moving on to face Devil Dukes and potentially fight. Alpha. Different team. I confused them with earlier. Alpha. I'm an Alpha simp, so I cannot root against them. But it'd be really cool if Battalion went to the grand finals. But Alpha simp, I can't root against them.
I don't know about chat or whatever, but my heart hurts. I almost want a rematch between these teams. I feel a way to end it. It just had to be that. I'm still in almost disbelief. As much as I love Decapi-taters, I can feel the sneeze coming on from earlier that we were talking about, because maybe I jinxed. Battalion, bring it in. They're going further in the series, and I think you've got to be scared of this team. I don't know what it is about them, but I've said it at the beginning. They have the ability to bring it back. And worst, your copium is now looking like just OJ right now.
So much copium.
They're looking absolutely great.
It's so good.
Oh my goodness, but it's so upsetting. That's it for this series for us.
I want more. I want more user. I sound like a whining child, but that's because I just love getting to cast series like this. They're so close, and I mean, Decapi-taters has to be. I mean, I'm not gonna. I've said it enough. Mental, not looking great after that one.
Yeah.
Delphi was having a laugh in match chat, but other members maybe not taking it so well.
Yeah, I definitely think worst. While we may not be casting any more games for a little bit, and there's no rest of the games for the series right now, at least for today. There will be more in the future. Tranquility still has a lot more matches to go in. I recommend joining out the Discord, because some teams are streaming their own POV for kind of unpublic matches. So I definitely think it's something that you want to be keeping an eye on, right?
Yeah, and we actually have a match tomorrow, quarterfinals of Discord tier. Domination versus Mark 3 should be a big one, but for the matches that happened that you guys may have missed. Sky Guardians vs. Chrysalis was a match. It's going to be played tomorrow, so they'll have updates for that during the featured match tomorrow. You guys can look forward to that. That's in Harmony tier. Also in Harmony tier, Frost Nova did take the 4-2 victory over Luminous Foxes. Congratulations to them. They will be moving on. And Paradise Lost is going to be moving over Echo Fleet 4-1. That's a big deal. Echo Fleet looked like one of the top 3 teams in Discord tier for quite a while, and Paradise Lost to pull off a 4-1 against them is a massive. And of course, earlier we had God Hands to take that 4-1 over Bird Society Ibis. And again, thank you to all our people out there that were gathering the scores for us. We thank you very much for helping us with that. But again, tomorrow we have a featured match here, again at this same Twitch channel. For Domination versus Mark III, and on Monday, of course, we always got our Iris podcast, so look forward to them reacting to all the craziness this week, including this match. You'll get to see what those great analysts and community figures got to say about this match in particular. But Ivan Worscats, is there anything you want to say before we do sign off?
Yeah, I just want to make sure you you support out. Wait, yeah.
We got player of the match. We completely forgot.
Oh my goodness, that's what I was about to bring up.
Yeah, Trippy. Why is it not Trippy?
Okay. We're on some copium right now, alright? As much as I want to say Trippy.
Don't say Pro Gamer.
Pro Gamer.
Pro Gamer's amazing, but Trippy is a god! Trippy's amazing!
Yes. But the Pharah is what gave them so much utility. While I will say it was a small crutch, it was a lot of over-reliance on it, it worked nonetheless. So that's at least my vote, but I will give one tiny portion of like a flake of it to them.
Trippy was amazing, but everyone on both Decapi-taters and Battalion played amazing. But to be fair, this series was a roller coaster. For both teams all the way. Some maps it looked so lopsided either way, and then the last map couldn't have been any closer. Exactly what we needed from a Map 7 series. Again, anything, but now we can get back to it. Anything you want to say before we do sign off?
I definitely want to say that if you enjoyed the broadcast and everything that you saw, I'd recommend checking both me and Worst out on our Twitters and social medias, especially Booth, who was able to sit here and give us a lot of commentary, insult us in our ears, and kind of give us a good laugh. It's been an absolute blast being here. As well as you can follow the Discord, Facebook, Twitter. You'll be able to get updated on everything when it comes to Tranquilities, because we have so much more when it comes to this end season, as well as you want to compete in the next. So you got to make sure to stay updated. Either way, I'm pretty much done with that. You can take us right out of here.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Once again, thank you all of you for joining us here for this amazing match. I saw quite a bit of you out here, a bunch of new faces. We love to have you here. Hit that follow if you do want to watch some more Tranquility action. Again, massive shout outs to Booth. I don't think we give them enough at Booth_cast. Go follow them everywhere you can. They deserve it, the world for it. Keeping these broadcasts going and do so much producing for us. But again, I've been Worstcast, joined here by the amazing user name _Intel, and we will see you later.
Let me get you on a coda.